Come inside this visual and audio wonderland of mine known as the Chronicles from the Upper Deck podcast. I'm your host, Derrick. As you can see, we just got ready. Why am I wearing a suit and tie? Because it's chapter 50, everybody. Thank you so much for your love and support. We have arrived at chapter 50 in 2026. I started this podcast in 2022 thinking nobody's going to listen to it. And now we got people listening to it. We got people watching it on my YouTube page. By the way, like and subscribe below. And yeah, man, it's just an incredible feeling. It's an incredible achievement. There's many more mountains to climb, so thank you for your support. If you're watching this for the first time, you're watching this, listening to this for what, the 60th time. Thank you for all your support. But I would like to give a shout out to all my guests who have made the show possible. My first guest was May 19th, 2022, with my boy Patrick Abadilla, we now host a side hustle podcast I like to say called Birdies and Banter. So shout out to Patrick, Jacob Iona as well, Jose Ruiz, Max Miller, Robert Hernandez, Nick Urias, Francisco Revelo, Max Beckholt, David Rodriguez Munoz, Ryan Carlson, Austin Turner, Walter Kasuga, Ernie Gonzalez, Alan Shipduck, Zoila Herrera, Cotter Smith. I'm just going down the list. Isaac Flores, Milton Grant, Leilani Cancillo, Kyle and Corey Escobar, Benjamin Paris, David Singh, Michael Malberg, Matt Mercurio, Mark Purdy, and then my 50th guest, Johnny Schaffer. Jonathan Schaffer is the associate producer of the Utah Mammoth. But I feel like I needed to dress for success because this is the 50th episode. So thank you for your love and support. And we'll get to Johnny in just a moment. Just one sports story that took place during our mini break. We lost Kyle Busch, one of the greatest NASCAR drivers of all time, one of the greatest drivers in any motorsport discipline of all time. Tragically passed away, life cut short. Tragically, at 41 years old, he passed away on May 21st, which was just a few weeks ago. It just doesn't seem real. Of course, as you know, Bush passed away from pneumonia that progressed into sepsis and led to hemorrhagic shock and disseminated intravascular coagulation. I just want to send our prayers and our love to his wife, Samantha, and his kids, Brexton and Lennox, and also, any all the drivers too that raced against him were teammates with him at Joe Gibbs Racing, Hendrick Motorsports, and Richard Childress Racing, and all the crew that worked with them. Just a sad loss for NASCAR. And for those of you that don't know, I love NASCAR. I love any motorsport discipline. So this is just a profound, this will have a profound impact, I think, on the sport forever. I like to think that in the Mount Rushmore of the greatest drivers of this century, Kyle Busch has a spot. And I'll just go over his numbers to you as well. Won two NASCAR Cup Series titles, 2015 and 2019. Won the Brickyard 400 twice. Won the Coca-Cola 600 in 2018. Was on the pole at the Daytona 500 earlier this year. He has the all-time wins leader in the top three NASCAR series overall. That is the Cup Series, the Truck Series, and the Xfinity Series. 234 wins. Just raced every day like it was nobody's business. um yeah, it's a sad loss for the sport. It really is. It is sad. And um and it just feel if you felt like he's kind of on the twilight of his career but also enjoying it more. And that's what the sad part. I know he talked about wanting to race with the son, Brexton, who's racing right now in the junior circuit in North Carolina. I just can't imagine what that family's going through. So our love and prayers go out to the Bush family, one of the greatest to ever do it. I personally was not a Kyle Busch fan myself, but you can't ignore the achievements he had. You can't ignore what he did on the racetrack and just dominating, in the late 2010s, or yeah, late 2010s to or early, late 2009s, 2000s to the 2010s. He was just one of the most dominant drivers of all time. Ranks ninth on the NASCAR Cup Series wins list with 63, I believe. Won the Nationwide Series title as well in 2009. But yeah, it's just it's a sad day. And obviously NASCAR's been going through a lot. They lost we lost Greg Biffle late last year in a just awful, awful plane crash that took the lives of him and his wife and two kids. And a friend of his as well. And then also recently we lost Ned Jarrett, one of the greatest drivers as well, Hall of Fame driver. But if this is a lesson, it's just to hug your loved ones, hold them closer, tell somebody that you love them, that you haven't yet, and more importantly, just continue to spread the love, man, because you never know what anybody's going through. And I think Kyle Busch said it best: enjoy every win because you never know when's your last. So, just wanted to pay homage to Rowdy. We salute you, Rowdy, on a hell of a career. Your legacy is going to live on forever, man. So Godspeed, Godspeed, and sending again prayers and thoughts to the Bush family. Coming up next, we got Johnny Boy Schaffer, only on the Chronicles from the Upper Deck podcast. Welcome back to the Chronicles from the Upper Deck podcast. I'm Derrick. Of course, I'm wearing the suit. You know, we wear I wore the suit in the beginning. We wear the suit when my guest is here, and we wear the suit for the after show. I mean, come on, it's 50-50 here, folks, ladies and gentlemen. But I am proud to introduce my next guest as I switch on to my speaker view because you saw a sneak peek of him, but I didn't give him a formal introduction because it's the 50th chapter of the Chronicles from the Upper Deck podcast. So. I met this young man. I call him my younger brother, just because I don't have younger siblings, just have an older sister. We met at San Jose State University. We were part of KSJS FM, Ground Zero Radio there at beautiful San Jose State University. We did the Spear together. And it was just a lot of fun. We got to do it for, I believe, 2.5, 3 years, including the pandemic, which was we made I like to say we made chicken shit out of chicken salad, to be honest with you, in that. But yeah, it's great to have my brother on. He's had a whirlwind road to success in his career. Let's just say this, all through hockey. We've seen him with the San Jose Barracuda. We've seen him with the Tucson Roadrunners and both AHL teams. We saw him with the Anaheim Ducks, and now he is with the Utah Mammoth, where he's an associate producer. We'll get more into that. Ladies and gentlemen, our Chapter 50 guest from Riverside, California, Jonathan Schaffer.
Ah, man, DQ, I'm in off season mode when you pull up with the full suit, and I just got a t-shirt on. But no, man, thanks for having me on the show. Glad I'm the 50th chapter, huge honor, and yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Well, you texted me not obsessively, hey, what am I gonna be on? What am I gonna be on?
Yeah,
And I showed you the list of my guests, which I'm not gonna.
yeah, long list for sure.
I like keeping it close
Yeah,
to the vest here. And you got Sad Boy, and then when I'm like, you know what, I was going down because folks podcasting, and I'm sure every up and coming podcaster goes through this, big or small. You always struggle to find guests. Strike schedules don't line up. What, and yeah, but I'm just glad to have you on, my brother. You've been kicking ass in your career, and obviously just never stop grinding, man. And you've been on a whirlwind journey, like I've mentioned, to where you're at now with the Utah Mammoth. But before we go into your main questions, I always like to do the fun stuff here, and it's these icebreaker questions I got going on. So, five icebreaker questions that we answer together. Are you ready, my friend?
yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Bay Area or LA?
Bay Area.
Their reason, or I thought you were LA though.
No, well, because like I don't really associate myself more with LA. I like more of Orange County.
Mm.
But if you were to compare LA to the Bay Area, I enjoy the Bay Area a lot more.
So I should have changed the question to Bay Area or SoCal.
I
Oh,
see now SoCal. There you go. Well, LA's technically SoCal, but I don't enjoy LA as much as I do Orange County, San Diego, and stuff like that. So I
mm.
like it way more south.
All right, man. I remember seeing your party days at SJSU.
Yeah.
Your go-to karaoke song.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Oh, it's got to be Float On by Modest Mouse.
That's a sneaky one. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't answer the first one, but Bay Area, obviously, grew up near there. Um, See, I've never been like stupid blackout drunk. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten like tipsy, but then I had threw up the next day. That's not a fun feeling, kids.
Uh-huh.
But make sure drink responsibly. But I think it would be any like Johnny Cash song, Ring of Fire. And a funny story. So I sang that for my going away to San Jose State college party. And this was at round one, which is like a Dave and Buster's a little bit. There might be some locations spread out throughout the country. And these two security guards were just patrolling. We were in like a little I would describe like as a party room that you can use for parties and stuff. So they had karaoke. We my dad and I sang and I fell into a burning ring of fire. And yeah, the security guard's like, wow, that sounded like Johnny Cash came back to
There you
life.
go. Good
That's
compliment.
my
The
that's my karaoke song.
best karaoke moments, I feel like, and it sounds crazy, the ones where you go out to like just some random dive bar and it just happens to be karaoke night. You don't know it's karaoke night, it just is, and it's empty in there, and you have like two older people, the regulars, they're just singing away, and you're like, you know what, there's no one here, I'm gonna go for it. And eventually, you have a few more drinks, maybe a couple of shots in there too, and by the time you know it, it's late at night and you're singing still in front of nobody, but
Yeah,
now you're having a good time. But
yeah.
yeah, my brother is a similar story as well. He goes to karaoke every Monday and Wednesday at a bar here in Riverside called Locals, and he loves singing Prince. He's a big Prince guy now, and I've gone with him a couple of times, and it's fun.
Yeah, I know it's 10 years ago that we unfortunately lost the great the legendary Prince, man. But purple rain. There you go. Blast your drums with that too.
Oh, is this a karaoke podcast now?
No,
Are
it's
we
not.
pulling out the
I said
vocals here?
it's all part of the icebreakers here.
I love it.
You worked at McDonald's. I had to look up your LinkedIn because I do my
Ah,
research.
it
So,
is on my LinkedIn.
and you
Yes.
also worked on Chili's as well, which I'll
Yeah.
get into a little bit. Favorite meal at McDonald's and Chili's.
Oh, okay. McDonald's, it's got to be a Big Mac.
Okay.
No pickles. I'm not a pickle guy,
So,
so I say no pickles. Got to be a Big Mac. Love that the Big Mac sauce. Sometimes I ask for extra. Sometimes I don't, depending on the day. Medium fried. You gotta go with the McDonald's Coke. Not much. Don't go really much with the Sprite. It's a little too. You get that spice with it, right? Yeah. So got to go with the McDonald's Big Mac, French fries, and a Coke, and then Chili's. It's funny, DQ. I was just at Chili's last night after my golf round too, and I had the chicken bacon ranch quesadillas, which I have leftovers, so I'm probably gonna have that for lunch after this. But Chili's, I think I gotta go with that ribeye steak, man. Their steaks are just they. I think it's the freshest thing you could eat there. From when I worked there, I knew it was the freshest thing. Like when people would ask, like, what's something that's actually fresh and not stored in a fridge or something. And I can say this now because I don't work there anymore. And it was always the burgers and the steaks. Those stuff come fresh every single day.
yeah.
So if you go to Chili's, you want something that's not stored in a fridge or freezer, go with the burgers or a steak. It's phenomenal. And they got that garlic butter on top and stuff. Ugh. I didn't get it last night, but maybe next time.
Yeah, I need to try the steak because usually when I go to Chili's, it's either chicken crispers, clutch,
Yeah.
little sausage.
I need Chipotle crispers,
Coco's
also a top tier.
combo. That's
Uh-huh.
top tier. Of course, chips, which by the way fill you up a little bit faster. So just don't go with the chips.
Careful with those. Don't fill up
Yeah,
on chips.
don't fill
Unless
up
you
on
get a
chips
three
right
for
away.
me. The three for me is a good deal for the chips and salsa. Upgrade with the case. I still know the menu, DQ. Like every time I go to a Chili's and I'm with my family or anyone, they're just like, "What's good here?" And I give them all the details of the deals. Obviously, the menu's a lot different. I haven't worked at a Chili's in years now, but I know the back of my head. Like, hey, you can get this, you can save on this. Lemonade's always good. So I like to kind of be that Chili's connoisseur, I guess. And they always say, once a chili head, always a chili head.
Yeah, and at McDonald's, breakfast, which I think for road trip is good. Even
Yeah.
like on a I'm trying to limit my so if my doctor's listening, I'm trying to limit the cholesterol.
Yeah, right.
Sausage, egg and cheese McGriddle
Okay.
that hits hash brown. Get the
Yeah.
that's
Oh, I'm
so
more of a biscuit guy. It's funny. I'm golfing again this upcoming weekend. Whenever this is being recorded and published out.
yeah.
Going golfing this weekend. I got 6:10 a.m. tee time at Menifee. And if you don't know Riverside to Menifee, it's a solid drive. There won't be any traffic, so I'm gonna get there quick. But it being that early, I probably won't want to cook that early because that means I have to get up earlier than that. So I was thinking to myself like, oh, do I want to hit McDonald's or do I want to hit Starbucks? The Starbucks
Yeah.
has solid breakfast options too. It's just those are definitely just being tossed in a microwave and you have to pay extra for it and the
Yeah.
tip and everything. But I have my rewards, so it's a hit or miss.
Did you have a nickname in childhood?
No, it's just been Johnny. Sometimes my dad calls me J Man. He used to call me Bubba as a kid. I think a lot of parents call their kids Bubba. Lately, my dad calls me Jay now. So my parents have kind of teeter-tottered around. But as a kid, no, it's just been Johnny, which is funny, DQ. I have to track back on that now. When people ask me, how do you want Johnny spelled? And I tell them, you can spell it any way you want because it's a nickname. Nicknames don't have to be spelled the way like people want. Because people get confused, right? They say like, well, why do you spell Johnny with a John and then Y when your name is spelled Jonathon? And I'm just like, well, you can change it to Jonny if you want. Like I used to spell it like that
Yeah.
until people started getting all confused. My dad was also the one who like made me switch it to John. And nowadays I don't care. Like spell it the way you want. The only thing I care is if you spell my name right, which it's Jonathon. It's not An. People spell it An all the time. It makes people confused. So it's Jonathon. It's a little different. There's not a lot of Jonathans out there. I guess that's the way you technically say
Yeah, but mine is always for you, Johnny Boy, Johnny Brady Schaefer. I can't say
it.
like Johnny May Schaefer.
Yeah,
It don't really round out, especially with Drake May's last name is ends with Y-E.
yeah. And
It doesn't.
especially too with as everyone saw it last year, just the Drake May obsession tour with the
Yeah.
the Drake May lover account, which I do follow. Like I find that extremely entertaining. I actually love the Drake May oh gosh, I don't even know what you call it. Just the attention he got this year. I mean, I know we're gonna talk about the Patriots in a moment, but
We
it's
will. We
just
will.
it was amazing. But no, I stick with the Brady. We don't need to keep adding Drake May's name to everything.
And shout out to his wife too, who does some like cooking recipes, I guess, on her channel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and Michael May.
Instagram.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
has her own cooking social media account. She features Drake a couple times on there. Love following that. They had like some kind of softball tournament recently, a
Oh,
softball
okay.
game. I think it was the entire Patriots. I don't know the exact details. I think it was a fundraiser,
Yeah.
and Michael May got a huge standing ovation. So the fans just absolutely adore her. I honestly don't know if it was at Gillette Stadium or where the Boston Red Sox play at either. It was probably at Gillette Stadium just because it's the off season for football right now. But
Somewhere in
no,
the Massachusetts, Boston area, general Boston area there.
yeah, I don't know why I totally blanked on what did the Red Sox play again? It's
Bro.
the Green Giant, one of the classic stadiums. I'm forgetting the name now.
Fenway Park. Come on,
Fenway, there you
boy.
go. I know.
Come
Sorry,
on.
man.
That's
I'm
what the
out of
show
touch.
is. All right. Peace out.
Yeah, I don't know what Fenway Park is
Come
called.
on, man.
Get me out of here.
Even young Max Gretzky Miller knows this. Let's see nicknames for me. And by the way, icebreakers, we both answer these, so that's why I'm answering too.
Like it.
Um, Nickname for me, obviously DQ. I think a lot of people get confused, like DQ. What the heck? What does that mean?
Uh,
So I'm named after my late grandfather, Quan Ao. And on my dad's side, it's just my sister and I were the only grandchildren, niece and nephew, out of my dad's side of the family, or at least my dad's immediate side of the family. And my mom just called me DQ, and my sister calls me DQ. And then now it's gotten like a little too over
yeah.
populated. So now I got you back DQ, DQ, DQ. And I'm like,
Ugh.
okay, dude, just call me Derrick D, whatever. DQ, DQ. I only like let certain people know it. I think Max does it because I don't know. DQ, DQ. You can't say
Well,
Derrick.
that's just Max, man.
Yeah,
That's
you
just
can't
Max. You
say.
know how he is.
So I think a lot of people get confused. Why do they call you DQ? I put a kibosh on this because we were at a U.S. Women's Open final qualifier a couple weeks ago in Salinas. And by the way, on the telly right now this weekend in Riviera, just up the road from where you're at, in Pacific Palisades. And I was trying to follow one of the players. I was finishing up, and Crowd Tierra Country Club, which I've played there a lot. By the way, if you haven't played there, go play there. It's like the clubhouse is on top and it's in a valley. So I'm on like the first tee box where you can see the ninth green where the player that I was watching finish up, and then we're trying to get one of the other medalists from who plays at Stanford. and I hear, "Hey, DQ, DQ." And it's my
Oh
boss
no.
Sherry, and I'm like,
Oh,
dude,
that's when the bosses are in on
yeah,
it.
yeah, it's
It's
bad. I'm like, just Derrick, come on.
yeah.
Other nicknames, Big D, D
That's a good one to have.
Money, yeah, Showtime from Little League, Doctor Golf from
Okay.
First Tee, um, yeah. So I think those are kind of like my most popular nicknames. But yeah, I think DQ is fine with you and Max. Whatever. You guys are
Yeah, yeah.
boys. You know what I'm saying. But when it starts the boss, I'm like, yeah, yeah. I was like,
Yeah. It's funny. Another note on that. When my first year I wasn't called this in Tucson, but my second year when I was promoted to the play-by-play broadcaster, and as you know, DQ, DQ, as you know, in minor league hockey or any minor league sport, you're not only the broadcaster, right? You work in the community relations
correct.
department. You're pretty much team services as well. It's not in your title, but your team services in some shape or form. And then you're also running the PR. So you really get close with the players and the coaches. You're in the locker room. You're part of the team. And when I first got into that new role, I'm like, man, like, are these guys gonna accept me? I'm brand new at this. I was 24 at the time. I'm like, I'm just a kid doing this, but I knew I was accepted in there when I got my nickname because players have all their nicknames, right? Coaches have their nicknames, especially in hockey. Huge thing in hockey for nicknames. And started calling me Shafe. So once Shafe was used in the locker room, I knew exactly I was accepted in there. So that's literally what I went by my second year in Tucson, just Shafe, and I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if the players call you that, that's one thing too. So you guys
Yeah, there we go. We're in.
most famous person in your contact list,
Ooh.
and don't use me.
Hey. You know what? I'm gonna go with he's not with the Utah organization anymore.
Okay.
His dad was you probably know where I'm going with this. His dad, famous Coyote, um, still works in hockey to this day. I'm gonna go. It's Josh Doan. So Josh Doan, his rookie season in Tucson was my first year with the Roadrunners as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you have players' phone numbers when you need to reach out when it comes to ask him to come on your shows or just confirming with them with when it comes to like, engagement opportunities and with the community and all that stuff. So haven't talked with him in a while, but obviously he had an amazing year in Buffalo, signed that huge contract. And with where the Sabres are going, I think obviously we see Josh Doan. He's going to be a star in this league. His dad was a star too. And I've met his dad before, Shane Doan. Amazing, just an amazing family in general. But yeah, I still have Josh Doan's numbers. So I won't be giving it to anyone. So don't ask me. But yeah, I would say that's the most famous one right
I got two. It's 911. Just kidding. Don't call it
now.
911. But yeah, I mean the Sabres, hell of a season from them.
Fun to watch him.
Montreal right now are kind of my favorite teams. Obviously, the Sharks and Montreal had two electric regular season games. Of course, I have to say my Sharkies. Uh, it's only the beginning, man. And
Yeah.
I sit here and laugh when the NHL gave us. I mean, awarded us the second pick. Thank you to them.
Oh man. Oh man,
No
that was
conspiracy.
insane.
No conspiracy. Famous people. Uh, would I go with young Max Miller? I mean, he's been killing it in the writing
You know
room.
what? Yeah,
I
like
played to see
you
go
could
there.
argue it's Max too, because that guy has a huge following on Twitter now, man. I mean,
Yeah,
he would love
Twitter.
us. He would love hearing us say that because that just boosts his ego. But I
Well, we got
mean,
invited to his wedding, so we were already
we
boosted.
did. We did. Yeah, we're obviously special in some shape or form, but yeah, Max is gonna get there soon. He's probably dead second for me.
Yeah, yeah. And if you don't follow Max for San Jose Sharks hockey coverage or just general
Yeah,
hockey knowledge, you
just
guys
anything.
hit
Liz
my.
Child too. Liz Child also used to work for the San Jose Barracuda. She has a huge social media presence now. Now she's with the Muskegon Lumberjacks in the USHL, but
Oh damn,
a lot of people know her too,
she did it.
in the social media world.
Yeah,
Gosh, now I'm kind of going through a list, and obviously just other players, of course, with the Roadrunners and stuff who are either there right now or going on to new things with other teams or leagues. But
I would say I've been more in the habit of like if I follow you on social media, we're cool, we're close. I
yeah,
won't
yeah, yeah.
Foster whatever. So two people, Mark Purdy, Al Chipnuck, one A, one B. I can just talk to them when I need wisdom or some counseling when it comes to like journalism stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
having them and as phone contacts when you grow up reading them, I'm sure you feel the same way too. Certain people, certain
Yeah.
mentors get into later. Is that it's like, damn, we can just text them and say, hey, I have this question about how to write a certain story and stuff like that. So I've always been really appreciative of their mentorship, as well as countless people. My boss Jerry, who I mentioned too, had a heck of a career with the Monterey County Herald, our local paper too, just picking his brain a little bit. So yeah, there's a lot of valued people in my life on my phone, including you. So, and DJ Wally C. Walter Kasuga, who we will see a little bit later from him. He did. I'll little spoil it a little. He did have a question in our Q&A, but we're gonna go to our main interview portion here. Describe your upbringing in Riverside.
Oh wow. Well, yeah, born and raised in Riverside. I grew up initially like right next to downtown, near Mount Rubidoux. So yeah, I was born in a big house there, and just kind of being next to downtown got the full Riverside experience, I guess. Like I just have childhood memories of walking through downtown, kind of walking through all the shops right there and stuff. Our house was kind of on a slanted hill too, which made things always fun, with the skateboards and going downhill, which was not safe. I'm not saying do that. Don't let your kids do that, but growing up just near that mountain it just made the outdoor activities fun. And what did I go to? Now I'm trying to think. I went to Hawarden. Started off there, just going to school and stuff. I don't remember which kindergarten school I went to. That's too far in the past. But yeah, eventually, I would say about after fifth grade, going to Castleview, I moved up about 20 minutes up the hill. I live on a bigger hill, like the elevation wise. And I lived in this neighborhood now called Orange Crest for about over 10 years now, or at least where my parents live. And yeah, got a new house here. And then I started going to Miller Middle School, which was right down the street from my house. And then eventually going to King High School, graduated from there. But yeah, I just Riverside's home. Like, I know a lot of people say like, oh, my hometown was sucked and I would never go back and all this stuff. And Riverside's it's not the biggest city. I mean, the county's huge, but it's not the biggest city itself. But this is just home to me. Like, I would love to live out here for the rest of my days. Unfortunately, there's no sports out here like that. There's no major league teams, no minor league teams. It's all around us. But so unfortunately, I won't be, unless I retire one day and move back here. But definitely won't be living here for most of my life. I'm here for the summer right now. Well, we await the next upcoming season of hockey. We wait until the Stanley Cup Finals end. But yeah, it's just home. I think just having that significance of being born here, having childhood memories here, meeting my best friends here and family and everything. It's just it's how I'm always going to remember it.
Now, for those people watching this and listening, I think they just get a general consensus like there's LA and Disneyland in Anaheim.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So for
and beaches. There's beaches right here too.
There's beaches, yeah, Santa
Yeah,
Monica.
yeah.
So for people that don't read the map here, how far is Riverside to like Anaheim per se?
No, it's great. Great question, because when I've met people and say like, "Oh, I'm from Riverside," they just assume I'm like 30 minutes from LA. And then later, and again, I don't expect people to remember every single detail about me, as I forget every single detail about another person. And then people ask me like, "Oh, like I'll go home, like in Tucson, I'll go home for a bit, come back," and then I have a player ask me like, "Oh, how's Los Angeles? How's LA?" And eventually I just started telling them, yeah, it's good, because I was tired of explaining to people where Riverside was. But what's great about Riverside is it's just in the middle of everything. You have Palm Springs and Indio and Coachella Valley, where the Firebirds play. You have that an hour away, hour east, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can go an hour south, and then or maybe more than an hour and a half, depending on traffic. That's also what sucks, the traffic, obviously. But you go an hour south, and then you're in San Diego County, right? And then you can go an hour west, and then now all of a sudden you're maybe a bit more south as well, but now you're in Huntington or Newport. You're in Orange County, Anaheim, of course, which is a lot closer, only 45 minutes away from where I'm at right now. And then you can go an hour up north, and then you have Los Angeles and LA County and all the cities in that compact area too. So we're just in the middle of everything, and that's what was also so great about growing up here. Once we were able to, start driving around, we were just like, hey, beach is an hour away. We can let's during the summer, let's go on the weekday, right? Obviously, because weekends are just packed everywhere you go. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's in the middle of everything. Riverside County though is actually the biggest county in California. So when I say Riverside, the city itself is small, but just the county is ginormous. It stretches all the way to Palm Springs, which is still crazy in my mind. But Riverside itself, not much going on here, but just everything around us. It's what makes the spot so awesome to be at.
Yeah, so I just want to clear that up because I think people are like, oh, he must have went to Disneyland like 5 times.
No, yeah, I mean we can, but it's still a solid 40-minute drive with no traffic. It's just that's the only bummer part about being in California. Yeah, we're surrounded by so many great things, even in the Bay Area too. But if you leave at the wrong time, it's gonna take you a while.
Yeah, we know that feeling, man. Uh,
Yeah.
did you play any sports when you were younger?
So only sport I played growing up was football. Started playing in Pop Warner, Pee Wee, stuff like that. Honestly, I wasn't that good, but I just loved the sport so much, so I just continued on and kept playing. But it became eventual that after my freshman year in high school, I just wasn't getting big, and all the other kids were getting bigger. And I'm like, man, maybe it sounded like I just was step. I'm like, man, I'm gonna start getting hurt if I keep doing this. And I wasn't getting playing time. Let's be honest. I just wasn't physically built for the sport anymore. So
Yeah.
football is the only sport I played. I played soccer, when I was like, little, 5-year-old, just kind of running around, kicking the ball to those small little nets and stuff. I did that for a while. I'm honestly surprised I didn't keep going with soccer. But yeah, those are the two main sports I played. I tried a little bit of golf in high school, but when you start off golf pretty late, like I did, it's doesn't usually work out. So tried out for the high school team, didn't make it. But I tried for it. But yeah, football and soccer were my main two growing up.
Dang. And did you have any siblings growing up, or?
Yeah, so I have a pretty big family. I like to call our family kind of a Brady Bunch type, right? Where you have all the step siblings and the step parents and stuff like that. So my mom married my stepdad when I was 5 years old. So I have two step siblings and I have two biological blood siblings, whatever you want to call them. I call them all my brothers and sisters because we all
Yeah,
grew up together,
yeah,
right? But
yeah.
I'm the youngest of five. So that was a fun time growing up. They always say the youngest is the favorite, and that's what all my siblings kept claiming to me. It's like you've been the favorite this whole time growing up, but I grew up knowing my step siblings, so I call them brother and sister and everything. I call my stepdad dad because he raised me as a kid. My biological father passed away when I was young, so yeah, we've had an interesting family, but we know we're all older now, of course, so a lot of us are gone. My oldest sister is a full-time nurse now. She still lives in Riverside. My oldest stepbrother is in the Air Force now. He's getting his master's at in Dayton, Ohio. So don't see him as much, but I did help him move out there, which was a really fun trip driving across the country.
Yeah.
My stepsister is a full-time mom now, but she also does work on the side with ADP, or it is technically her full-time job, but also she's raising two kids, so that's she's juggling all around the place as well. And then my brother lives here with us, with my parents right now, and he's going to school and working and stuff as well. So, and I'm the sports guy. So out of our whole family, the only guy working in sports is me. So we've just been all over the place.
Yeah, we have the you have the list. I like to say this too about my family because three of my parents and my sister both work at our local county, very different departments. But I have the less serious job where it's just sports,
Yeah.
entertainment, pop culture, music,
Yeah.
sports, all the less serious of the bunch. And
All over the place.
shout out to your brother, man, serving in the Air Force. Thank you for your service, and also your sister, your sister as well, being a nurse as well, and also your
Yeah.
too, killing it. And then I know your brother getting his degree. So man, like youngest five to wonder, I call you Johnny Boy and not Johnny Man. maybe
Yeah.
maybe maybe
It's,
I'll switch
it's,
it.
Yeah, it was it was interesting growing up as a youngest, as I mentioned earlier. Like, all the older siblings just hate you the whole time. They're just like, oh, this kid's the favorite, and we stretch. Like my brother, the one in the Air Force, just turned 29.
Wow.
My oldest sister's 32, and I turned 25 last March. So we're all getting up there in age, which is still crazy because it's like I'm still just the youngest. I'm still the baby of all of us. So it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, where does the time go, man? Where did your interest in becoming a sports broadcaster come from?
So it's related to when I quit football, right? Because obviously when you're playing football in your youth, you're thinking like the goal is to, hey, I want to be the next JJ Watt because I play defense. And at the time, someone as skinny as I am, you can play defensive end because just everyone played any position, right? It'll play a little linebacker as well. So before that, I was like, I'm going to be the next JJ Watt for not realizing that JJ Watt is what 6'4", probably 260 or something, just pure muscle. He still looks fantastic, by the way, as a broadcast. Have you seen his hair now? I mean, come on. So maybe in that way, I could be the next JJ Watt as a broadcaster. But anyways, yeah, once I quit football, I kind of started looking at, hey, what do I actually want to do? Right? It was after my freshman year of high school. I'm going into my sophomore year, and I wanted to kind of start doing extracurricular activities. And before the sports stuff, I actually wanted to get into film. I'm really big into movies, like not just watching movies, kind of like analyzing them, looking at the cinematography, who is all involved in it. Like I love doing that on the side. I love watching the kind of those analysis videos and stuff. I'm the annoying person who will pause a movie and say, so this scene, this is what they did, all that stuff. But so I wanted to get into that at first, but it was kind of hard to do that in high school because our one film class was just always booked every semester. It was Good Day I'm Okay is what we called it. And it was just always booked because it was a fun elective and people's like, well, I want to do the fun electives, right? They don't want to have to take ones they hate. So with that being said, it was kind of like, well, I'm not really fully into this. So like I don't really just want to wait for it. And that's just kind of when I realized I love talking about sports. I loved in the mornings sitting at the lunch tables just talking about the Thursday night game previously with my friends, right, or talking about it at lunch or just anywhere. And I know probably every sports fan growing up says like, oh, I can do the same stuff too, right? So I started to think like, okay, if I want to do this, at first maybe start off as a sports analyst or something, what do I have to do? So I did all the research, and obviously it was the get good at writing first and all that. So joined my school newspaper, the King Career, as a sports editor, and kind of started getting into that, interviewing high school players, covering the high school games and stuff. And that's when I started to realize that I wanted to do this. But it was still more of what did I want to be, like a news anchor? Did I want to do the play by play? Like, what did I want to do in the capacity of this? And it wasn't really until freshman year when we went to KSJS that I wanted to do play by play because I realized that the radio broadcasting aspect was actually really cool. And I honestly didn't grow up much listening to the radio. I listened to Steve Carroll a lot with the Anaheim Ducks. That was probably the only shout out to him as well, as he's retiring this offseason, which is end of an era. But he was realistically the only one I've listened to, and I didn't even know what sport I wanted to do yet. Right? It was more of like, is it gonna be baseball, football, hockey? I was new to baseball at the time. It was around when Shohei Ohtani was in his first few years because I started watching baseball again because I realized I wanted to work in sports. So I was kind of trying to expand my knowledge. But yeah, it wasn't really until and I barely even did any play by play my freshman year because COVID happened. We both started off as PA announcers for the San Jose State hockey team, but just seeing how the broadcast worked and getting familiar with the radio station and just all of that, it was that's why I realized like I think I want to try out this broadcasting thing. And what sucked is it didn't really get kick started until my junior year when COVID was finally lifted and we were able to finally do broadcasting again, and
Yeah.
it just kind of jump started from there.
Nice, man. And before I go into your educational experience at Keene High School, I always like doing this with any of my guests who I don't, necessarily are not in Salinas. You know what I'm saying? I like looking up, your school. And yes, there's multiple Martin Luther King High
Yeah,
Schools.
you were not the only one.
Keene High Schools. So relax, folks. Okay,
Yeah.
so Keene High School. Shout out to the Keene Wolves. Some notable alumni besides you.
We know.
Emily Osmus, who represented our country at the Summer Olympics, played women's water polo. Shout out to her. Carlin Brown, who was the top leading scorer in the Israel Basketball Premier League in 2013-14. We got Sierra Hanna. Let's see, what movies was she in here? She was in Power Rangers, Mega Force, and she played Nicole Parker in Blood Lake Attack of the Killer
Okay, so we got
Breeze.
an actress.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. We got Robert Malone, who was a punter in the National Football League. Lions, Jets, was first team all whack at our beloved rival, or Fresno State, who decided to go to the Pac-12. Peace out to them. And then also Tony Snell for the Sioux Fall Skyforce, who is now playing. Where in the world is he playing? In the LDB Elite League in France. Yeah, the
Oh wow. Okay,
league, but
the
also
first few sounded familiar, but that
yeah,
last one,
but the last one I saved the best for last. Of course,
yeah,
future Hall of Famer Kawhi Leonard. I did not know he went to your school.
yeah, he didn't go long. I want to say it was either 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
King actually has, I don't know nowadays, but actually had a pretty good basketball program.
Mm.
Um, but it's funny you say that as well. So one of the 2 game that Kawhi was featured on, like as the cover athlete, I don't remember what 2 game it was. It was might have been 16 or 17, maybe 18. I don't know. And King High School is in that game. If you play on My Career and you click the start and everything, it shows like a title screen. It's like Riverside, California, and you play a pickup game with Kawhi Leonard at King High School, which it's a story I love to tell everybody. I'm like, hey, my high school was in this video game, and I've heard stories of like that Kawhi didn't like King, but if we're featured on the game that he obviously probably said like, hey, let's do this, then he didn't have any beef with us.
Right.
So, but yeah, I don't know the full details of like when he was here and stuff like that. But yeah, he's a hell of a player. I mean, I don't watch basketball as much, but just knowing that he's an alum with us, he's one of us. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. I think it was his junior and senior year. So where I was going that before we went off to a tangent, we'll go. This is our show, my show, so we'll go off our tangent.
Do
But
what you want, man.
how did because I know when I started in this game, this journalism game, I obviously I was interested since I was a kid, but I didn't do like student media in high school. But you are complete opposite. You did student media in high school. How did that prepare you think, to transition to college and kind of have like a ground zero point of like, hey, this is what I want to do?
It was kind of just I'll probably babble on about this as we talk because working in sports is getting out of your comfort zone, and
Right.
it's the biggest thing you can do, right? You think, yeah, I can easily go to the NHL, and I can easily do this and that, and then you start to realize like, oh man, these athletes are kind of mean. Oh, not mean, but they might stonewall you, or not give you this exact answer that you wanted, because you start to realize you're working with professional athletes. You're working with, or you go back to high school. Now you have to kind of transition to working with high school athletes. Like every level of these athletes, or just anyone you're interviewing, is always going to be different. And this was my very first experience ever, like interviewing someone, right? So it was just kind of the basics of getting out of the comfort zone, being willing to, you know, call someone and say like, hey, can I ask a few questions, or do you want to meet in person? The scheduling aspect was fun working in high school, because it would be like, hey, what period are you free? Because everyone always had like an open period, kind of throughout high school, whether you had the first or second lunch. So that was also fun, kind of scheduling, hey, when can I talk to you? Hey, can I come to your practice, or cover you here as well? So it's kind of just yeah, just getting out of the comfort zone and learning how to just talk to someone, and just not just ask them questions, but make them feel comfortable, right? I know we were just student media, but sometimes these athletes don't really want to talk about what they're doing, because that's just how they are, and it's totally okay. But just making them feel comfortable, like, hey, I'm here to make you look good. I'm not looking for any controversies or anything, right? I'm not going to go against my own school and do this. And of course, it was learning how to do the AP style of writing, and uh, how to tell a story through typing your fingers on a keyboard, and kind of just learning the basics of that was good. Unfortunately, eventually the newspaper did close down. Just I don't think students were reading newspaper enough for obvious reasons. And not saying newspapers dying, it's just I don't think high schoolers were really interested with what was going on with the sports, or just anything. So my last year, my senior year, didn't do anything extracurricular. That's when I got my first job at McDonald's. But yeah, just those 2 years of getting the ground running, of just knowing like, hey, this is what I want to do. And yeah, just kind of learning of how to start with this.
Now, what is the best piece of advice your parents gave you?
Keep your contacts, I guess, or just make as many contacts as you can. Like DQ, you said yourself, you just know so many people, and the more people you know, it's just going to continue to open doors for you. Like I have a ton of contacts as well that have helped me throughout my process. You know, it got me my first job with the San Jose Barracuda. It got me my first job with the Roadrunners. It got me my job with the Anaheim Ducks after the Roadrunners. And then it also got me my job with the Utah Mammoth. So literally my first four jobs of working, actually getting paid to do this have all come through contacts. And, if you, I think that they gave me that advice. And the advice I would give too is just show people you can be utilized, show them that what you can do without having to tell them that you can do it. If you show someone that you're more than capable of, getting shit done and they see you getting shit done, then you don't have to tell them. They're just going to know to recommend you for a certain job or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just all about the context, and they're 100% right on it. Like just knowing enough people has gotten me to where I'm at now, and it's going to continue to get me where I'm at in the future.
Yeah, but this goes for any career tier. It's not necessarily journalism, but it's just
Yeah.
a utility player, especially, since you and I are kind of in our early, I'd still say in our early stages of our career where you're trying to establish yourself is just to be helpful. Don't be a shoe mat. I was like to say, don't be, too nice, but, always be helpful. Always be a sponge to learn.
Hmm.
That goes, not only in broadcasting, journal, podcasting, but any aspect of
Yeah.
whatever field you're going into. As I like to think of it like that. What made San Jose State kind of your school that you wanted to go to besides
So
BDB?
yeah. It's like I gotta be with DQ, man. So yeah, my school search process was interesting because I had friends who actually went to San Jose State, or family friends. One of my best friends growing up, his brother went to San Jose State in their engineering program. My sister's best friend's brother also went to San Jose State, getting a business degree there, I believe. And so they already told me like this school is great, but they didn't really know much about the sports. They didn't. I knew San Jose State was a D1 school, but I didn't know like, hey, did this have the level of ASU, right? So, of course, apply to ASU. I think everyone trying to get into sports eventually applies to ASU, whether they go or not, just to see, because it is a fantastic journalism program, let's be honest. But applied there, applied to San Diego State. I wanted to go to Long Beach, Cal State Long Beach, which I'm glad I didn't because they actually did not have as many sports as
Right.
San Jose State eventually, right? And then Fullerton. So applied to all those schools, got into ASU, but the out-of-state tuition was a bit too expensive. I think nowadays you can make that go down living in California, but I think at the time they just didn't have that, whatever it was called.
Right.
And so ASU was a bit too expensive. Got waitlisted by Long Beach, which is pretty much a nice way of saying that you got denied. Let's be honest. Um, and then I never heard back from San Diego State, but I already had made my decision at that time. So I have no idea if I ever got accepted. So I was deciding between Fullerton and San Jose State. And I think the big difference was San Jose State had a football team, which meant, and I did do some research on the on KSJS because obviously at that time I was like, hey, I might want to get into this kind of radio broadcasting thing.
Yeah.
So it was so I knew they had a radio station, student radio station, which was huge. I'm sure Fullerton has their own, but just didn't have enough sports. I mean, it was just not having football is what kind of did it for me. I know they probably have a hockey team. They have a really good baseball program, or at least they used to. Which I also wanted to get into baseball broadcasting as well. But San Jose State just had more of the sports, and even though the hockey team was club, it was still being broadcasted for what I was told. So made a visit there with my mom, and it was I don't know what they call it now, but it wasn't Rush Week, but it was when they had all those tents out on
I think
7th
it's Florida
Street.
Day. I think they still call it
Yeah,
mid.
where like
Yeah. Yeah.
they're trying to convince the students like, hey, if you come to San Jose State, you can do this, you can do that. And I found the KSJS tent because I told my mom like they're gonna be up today. I want to talk to them because if this might be the deal breaker for me. And I met Dale Watkins. You remember Dale, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Dale.
And then so he's I started asking him questions. I'm like, hey, like I heard you guys might have a sports broadcasting program, and obviously he was the big sports guy. So he's like, yeah, dude, this is what we do. We do play by play. We cover all these sports. And then Chad Oakland Jolin,
Yeah.
who was the director at the time, he's like, yo, I'm not really supposed to do this, but I'm gonna show you our radio station. So walks me into the class, shows me the building, shows me where the board op is, where the live feed is coming from, and just everything. And I'm like, man, these guys were really welcoming. And my mom and I flew back, and I told her, like, I'm going to San Jose State. Like this is what I want to do. And haven't looked back since. It was funny. My dad was actually giving me bad advice. I still joke with him about this to this day. But he was just looking out for me as parents do. But he was telling me, maybe you should go to RCC, which is our local community college, which still is also a fantastic school for kind of just getting set up for people who don't really know what they want to do yet. It's like, oh, go to RCC, save your money, for 2 years. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to go straight to a 4 year. I want to do this broadcasting now because I didn't know if RCC had a broadcasting program. I mean, they had the sports to do it, but I just wasn't sure. And this is no disrespect to community colleges. Again, like if you go that route, there's no shame there. But for me, it would have felt like high school 2.0 because the same people. I would have been still living at home. I wanted to go out and go experience something new while still being close enough to home. And I think a lot of people say that when they go to college, like they want to be far away, but they want to be far enough to where their parents are visiting them every weekend. I love my parents, but I just wanted to get that self of independence for once. So why not go to the Bay Area, which it's still in California. It's only a 6-hour drive, an hour flight if I ever had to go home. And I tell people all the time, like it felt like a different state. Like California, we know California's huge. It's one of the biggest states in the country, if not the biggest compared to Texas. But it just felt like a whole different atmosphere going from Southern California to Northern California / Bay Area.
Yeah.
And don't regret that decision. I loved my time at San Jose State, and I'm proud to be a Spartan.
Amen, brother. And it sounded like you just had that belief in yourself, like, hey, I feel like I could go make that leap. And if kids have that in the like right here, you have that the knowledge of knowing that, hey, I think I could make it to a 4 year. God bless you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it's tough. It's not easy. It's if you need to take the time to go to community college, do it. Community colleges still have tons of programs and tons of opportunities, but I just wanted to go straight into the 4 year. And like I said, to this day, I always tell my dad, it's like, man, you really didn't want me to do this at first. Like, imagine if I had stayed home. I mean, my path probably would have been, I'm sure I still would have been in a great spot right now, but my path would have been a lot different. I would have never met you probably, or at least I would have probably ended up in San Jose State eventually 2 years later. But then COVID happened. Everything would have been so much different.
Yeah, so how I got into KSGS2 was at Mid Spartan Day 2019, and then we were just like, walking around. We did the journalism stuff with Phyllis and Donna Nichols, who just retired. So congrats, Donna, heck of a career at San Jose State. And then you just got to tour the newsroom, update news, Spear.
Yeah, that was fun too.
Yeah, so I go because I went with my parents and went to obviously the radio, KSJS, RTVF, and it was Chad Oakwood Joel, Santa Cruz's finest there, and he offered my dad because he drinks he drinks more energy drinks than I do, but not like he's not a connoisseur or anything. So my dad Chad's like, hey, you want a Monster? And I'm like, oh, I think my dad took one, so my dad got him, and Chad gave us the same similar type of
He won over your dad with the Monster.
Yeah.
He won over your dad. He's like, you gotta go here. I like this guy.
Yeah, gave the similar type of spiel, and my dad, like after we were walking towards the Tower Lawn right there. My dad's like, damn, they give you like free Monsters here? Like, shout out. But right then there, I kind of knew, okay, I want to be there. So,
yeah.
But shout out Chad. I need to reach out to that dude.
Yeah, Chad, man, that guy really got it going for me too. Like, obviously, you mentioned he showed me around the station and everything, but it was my first week at San Jose State. Terrified freshman. I had just moved away from home. Yeah. I'm like, gosh, I'm on my own now. This has just been a crazy week. And it was our first, we had the KSJ classes. It was once a week, right? We met in the classes. Yeah. Right. And I know and then at the time, so to get certified, you had to take another class. You remember that?
Yeah.
So you get certified. Yeah. Gosh, that's a memory. Yes. Yeah. It was 121. I think 122 was the next class if you wanted to like kind of keep training at that. Also good for the elective points. So we had to take that extra class because you had to get on there certified. And it was just pretty much teaching you the rules of like don't cuss on air. Here are the FCC rules. It's good to know because it's actually helped me in my broadcasting career, kind of like having that sense in the back of my head. Not to cuss on air, but like knowing like, hey, this is how we break, this is what we do here and there. Legal IDs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it was my first week there. Saw Chad. He's like, hey, like he recognized me. He's like, hey, I'm glad you decided to come here. He's like, hey, do you want to be our spotter for Friday's game for San Jose State football? And I'm like, me? Like, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
And it was I have a picture of it too. I don't know if you can edit this or not, but like, I'll send you a picture if you want to slap it on here. But yeah, it was my very first broadcasting experience. Ryan Carlson was the color commentator at the time. Shout out to that guy as well. And yeah, it's a picture of me with Chad and Ryan. I'm young. I'm young. I got no beard yet. I don't have a beard right now, but I have no beard yet. And it was the very first thing I did broadcasting. I spotted for them at San Jose State's football game. I don't remember who we played, but we did win. I think it was either week 0 or week 1, obviously being the first week of school.
Yeah.
And the funniest part was showing that to like my family, my new friends, my dorm mates. I roomed with DJ Wally C my freshman year. And everyone's like, dude, how'd you get like? Because I tell people like, hey, why are you here? I want to do this. I want to be a sports broadcaster.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, dude, I've barely been to my classes. How are you doing this already? And it's funny because I've been asked that question like so many times. I'm only 25 years old and I've already ran a communications department for a hockey team. I've already been a play-by-play broadcaster. I've worked for 2 NHL teams technically now. I worked for 2 NHL teams this year, and people ask me like, how do you do it? Like, how do I get to this spot? Like what? Mm-hmm. I'm 26 now and I haven't gotten anything yet. Mm-hmm. And I just tell them like, honestly, like obviously you have to be perseverant, be aggressive, get to know people, but it's luck, man. It's definitely luck as well. Like I consider myself very lucky in my career. It was Chad who got me my first job with the San Jose Barracuda. And then from there, I met Adrian Denny with the Tucson Roadrunners, and he wanted to bring me on to Tucson my first year. And then it was him leaving the Roadrunners for me to get promoted to the play-by-play position. And then after Tucson, it was having my contacts in San Diego, getting to know them, working with the Roadrunners. It was my contacts who helped me get the job in Anaheim. And then it was still Adrian Denny again, who helped me get the job with the Utah Mammoth. But now I have tons of more connections with that too. Yeah. But it's I consider myself very lucky, but it's still just the beginning. I feel like my luck did run out a little bit with being laid off with Tucson, but hope to get that back soon and just keep going.
Yeah, and I gotta add these people too. Lewis Geis, who's still there. I think he's still there.
Oh, he is. Yeah, we still text here and there. We got a nice group chat of us from our crew that went to the Idaho Potato Bowl and stuff when I did play-by-play for that, and all the baseball when San Jose State made the regionals for the first time in 23 years. So we still chat a little bit in that.
Yeah, Aikman Fain and Dale, Mark Aziz, Mike Montijo as well. A guy younger than us, but he's been killing it. Nick Urias, who was on the show.
Yeah, he's doing good, man. That guy's gonna be a basketball broadcaster for sure. He's got talent for it.
Yeah, way back. Kara as well. Who else was getting? Oh, Adrian Serrano. I'll add him in there too, man. It was just a great cast of.
Nice name selection, man. Good name. Like I don't think I'd be able to. It'd take me longer.
shout out to the guy who traded me to be radio. Colin with 2 L's.
Colin with 2 L's.
Legend there. Kayla Riddell as well. She's working for I think PR for the San Jose Airport, which is cool.
Nice.
Caroline, there's all these people. Nick Martinez as well, the man who ran the show. I feel like I'm forgetting another one. Dr. Massey, right? I think so. Yeah. She was like the head.
Yeah. So, I don't know if she's still there. I don't know.
Still is. Yeah, I know Nick's still there, but yeah, it was just it was a fun place to be. Kind of fun to kind of explore yourself and just how explore your on-air talent, if you will.
Yeah. By the way, we're not sponsored by KSJS. Like we're doing this for free.
It's how we started, man. It's our alma mater.
I was so mad at myself. I was so mad at myself because obviously last year of college you're kind of like, especially the last semester, you're kind of just on that cruise control. Like you're doing good in your classes. You're going to be done soon. Like you've already been told you're graduating. And I was on such cruise control that, I wasn't at every single KSJS class. I will admit that. Like I was kind of lagging a little bit too much. And I wasn't told that you had to put an order in for your tassel. And I wish I got a tassel, with the KSJS,
Yeah,
90.55 from KSJS.
yeah,
Because, everyone gets their tassels, if they're a first generation or if
yeah,
they've
yeah.
accomplished stuff. And obviously that wasn't going to be for accomplishing anything, but it's like, I didn't have any tassels. And I kind of wish I
What generic?
man, I missed my opportunity because I stopped showing up. Or I
Yeah,
didn't stop showing up, but I missed this one class. And it's like, ah, man.
I got like I think a journalism one, and I think
Uh-huh.
they didn't really offer the KSGS one because that was the first year that we came back from COVID. So
Yeah, been
uh,
tough.
yeah, but it was like I say, it's like the Electric Factory, man. We got to ride that for a couple years.
Yeah, I'll never forget doing the overnight shows. I think that's also why Chad was like, "Hey, I'm gonna recommend this guy for the Barracuda job," because Chad had left,
Yeah,
and he knew I was a hockey guy, knew I wanted to get into broadcasting and stuff, and this was also after COVID, so we were just starting to kind of rebuild the Black Dog hockey broadcast as well
right,
for San Jose State
right.
hockey. Because to not confuse anyone, KSJS technically didn't cover ice hockey because it was a club sport. So we broadcasted that through Black Dog Hockey that covers all kinds of different divisional club sports. It's still growing as we speak, and they do TV games now for the San Jose Barracuda. So
Mhm.
that was broadcasted differently. We had DQ and I had our own crew with Max Miller and Ryan Carlson, but um, oh man, where was I going with this? But yeah,
And
so it
also
was,
Matty Ice Williams running the camera too because he's
yeah. We had our own camera crew and everything, but yeah, so that was the difference there. But yeah, then we covered sports like the basketball, the football, and the baseball. But yeah, all different stuff. We were busy. Oh yeah, but just going back to Chad, yeah, gotta thank that guy for everything. And it was doing the overnight shows from 2 to 6 a.m. because they needed someone there 24/7. I think it's a bit different nowadays where you can do it digitally now, but
yeah,
they needed someone in the studio.
yeah,
Because it was a 24/7 radio station, and I covered a lot of those because you needed a certain amount of hours to pass the class. And I utilized that because, I was a college student. I had a lot of energy still. I was
yeah,
a freshman. And
yeah.
I think doing all of those classes, it made Chad realize like, hey, this kid's dedicated. Let's get his career going. And then that's when I spent 2 great years with the San Jose Barracuda as a media relations assistant. And yeah.
Yeah, man, the rest is history. But going back to your college, our college days, I guess say I can't say your because we both shared a similar.
Yeah, right.
Um, one thing that I admired about you, man, is that because I would text you, hey, I want to go, let's go hang out or something like that. You or DJ Wallacey, and you're like, oh no, man, I'm working at Chili's. I'm like, what? You working at Chili's? Chili's? What are you doing at Chili's? And that I think we went there when you were off the clock, and
Yeah, you
uh,
guys you guys came a lot.
yeah, the homie Marcos hooked
Yeah.
it up. So shout out to Marcos.
Yeah, shout out to
He's still
Marcos.
there,
Love.
by the way.
Yeah, he is. He's a manager now there. He's killing it.
Um, how are you able to balance working a full-time job while studying as well?
Well, I think what made Chili so great was just the ownership there, the our GM Marianne Horder. Shout out to her as well. She was just really flexible with the hours. As everyone starts as a restaurant, you start off as a host and then eventually food runner, buster, and stuff like that. But that kind of got sandwiched in between COVID, as both of our careers got sandwiched in between COVID. And right when I was going to become a server my freshman year of college, COVID hit and I got furloughed like everybody else did. And eventually, when I came back to school and the restaurants started opening up, started back into go and worked my way back to becoming a server. But yeah, it was just having that flexibility. Like every semester, my schedule would change. Marianne would be accommodating to that. Or if we had two Barracuda games coming up this weekend, I tell like, hey, I could work the day shift, but I can't work the night shift. So I work a day shift up until 3 or 4, go home, change into my suit, and rush over to the Tech CU arena and work those games as well. So it was tough. Like it wasn't easy whatsoever. It was an absolute grind. Like there were times where I would go a whole week with just having a single day off, and it's like, man, I am like, just exhausted, but you just have to keep doing it. And yeah, it was tough balancing. Honestly, I don't really have an answer of how I did it. I think it's just knowing that this is gonna pay out. This is going to get me to where I want to be. I still look back to those days in college where I'm like, man, I'm proud. I'm proud of myself because I was just able to do it. I was able to work not only my Chili's job, but I had my internship. I was able to squeeze in time for the broadcast with KSJS and Black Dog Hockey. So I had pretty much four things rotating throughout the week. And obviously with when hockey season usually ends and baseball season comes up, so there's a nice balance there. But it's just having that drive and that passion for it, and just knowing like, hey, this is gonna pan out. And this goes for everybody. If you're working in sports and you've been in the minors for the last 5 years and you're thinking of a career change, no, keep going. Like it's going to pay off because, like I said earlier, someone's going to notice that. Someone's going to notice that you wore a lot of hats in your role, or you wore a lot of hats in your internship, or you did all this while you were in college, and it just goes a long way. And it also just teaches you how to time manage, how to kind of time manage not only your work but your personal life as well. Like, hey, maybe I should call my parents tonight. Like I haven't talked to them in the last couple of weeks, and stuff like that. So it just teaches you a lot. And again, I don't really know how I did it, but I know why I did it. And it was because I knew it was going to set me up for success.
Yeah, one value to I think that gets lost in success, whether you're an athlete or not, is sacrifice. And obviously that's just the way it is. I mean, yes, Johnny Boy did party. Yes, I've seen the
Oh
video.
yeah, you gotta fit that in there
We
too, man.
partied,
You
but
got you gotta have your social
yeah,
life.
yeah. But there's some small sacrifice you have to make sure that you get to your Mount Everest of whatever your kind of highest achievement that you want to achieve possible. So I like to just say, hey, it's good to work hard, but also you gotta make sure you balance that. I feel like
Yeah, you
yeah,
got to have a balance. I feel like I struggled with that my first year in Tucson because it was my first full-time job, which is
right,
funny because I felt like I was already working a full-time job in
yeah,
college, balancing everything with the classes and internships and all of that. But once you start full-time, especially in minor league hockey, where you're working, Friday, Saturday up until 2, 3 in the morning each night, you're not running on much sleep, and you're like, man, like I need a day, but you don't have a day. You have four more games coming up this week,
right.
right? So I will admit it was a struggle kind of balancing that because it was my first full-time job, and I got thrown into what it was like working in full-time in pro sports and not just at a part-time intern capacity. So yeah, there's always going to be that adjustment, even if you're working in the same league and you get a new job, because every team just works differently. They flow differently and everything. So, just be prepared for that too. Any listeners who are still in college or still looking for their first full time, it's an adjustment. Don't think you're just going to walk in there and know what's going on. It takes a ton of learning. I had to learn so much my first 2 years. Shout out to Adrian Denny for just kind of showing me the groundwork of what it took to not only be a broadcaster, but just be a professional and to work in professional sports.
What were some of your favorite memories of working in Update News, and also lessons that you learned from working in Update News, and also the Spear as well?
Yeah, well, first I'm sitting in front of a camera, right? Like I haven't done a lot of camera work in my career to be honest, because I've just done it all on the radio
Radio.
side. So really, the only and I've done on camera stuff for the Roadrunners, but that was like not live. It was pre-recorded, so I got to mess up and kind of do it again. If you
We
want to
had
check out,
Spearcast too, man. Don't forget
yeah,
Spearcast.
I don't think I ever did any Spearcast stuff. I don't think I did.
I think
Yeah,
we
I
had like
never.
one or two. Yeah,
I don't remember. I was a
I think we
lot more
invited you.
involved in Update News, of course, but yeah, Update News was fun because it taught me how to kind of get creative with my stories. Like
Mhm.
eventually, I became the sports guy and talked to our teacher Rosalind Platter, and I don't think she's teaching it anymore now, but at the time she was the director of the class, and she's always told me like, listen, I would love for you to be the sports guy because no one else wants to do it, which blew my mind. I'm like, how does no one want to? I'm like I was happy. I was like, cool, I get to do all the sports. Let's go.
Yeah,
Um, and I'd say at first, since I was new at it, it was like, hey, we have a sports story. Like, let's just do that. And it might just be covering a game or just doing anything like that. But eventually she was like, hey, I need you to start actually thinking of stories. Like a game recap is not a story. And it makes sense, right? Nowadays people don't just sit down and read a recap unless it has some significance to it, right? You need to add a bit of a story to the recap, not just straight stats in your face, right? And it started to teach me how to kind of go out and say like, okay, what can I find here? What's the significance of tonight's game of this certain athlete? Like, is there an athlete that's about to hit a milestone, or is this rookie freshman making his debut? Just little things like that. It's just what's makes the recap a bit more just kind of bigger in your face. I once did opening day for San Jose State baseball, and I did get a little lucky with this one because the game just was just a perfect opening day.
Yeah.
And Ross said it was like one of the best pieces of student work that she's seen, which I wasn't even at that class that day. I think I was either sick or off doing something else. And she like told all the students like, this is what we want, guys. Like, this is what we need to do. And I think what made the story better was our leadoff hitter. I think he hit a home run on like the first pitch of the game and kind of just set the tone for the season. Got the interviews and stuff as well. So it taught me how to grasp the stories, taught me how to read your prompts on the screen, but also not look like a deer at headlights, which I had struggled with when I started. Like dude, you gotta stop with the eyes, man. You look like a deer at headlights and stuff. Yeah. And it teaches you the basics, right? Like how to implement B-roll. Where do you want to get your interviews? You have to get an expert and what they say, expert and witness, not witness because it wasn't a crime, but like expert analysis, and then interview someone else who's significant to the story. Which I also liked about the class is you couldn't just kind of you wheeze your way through it, because I think the struggle was there were people who are just taking that class for an elective. And for those classes, when you're running a show once a week, you need everybody to contribute, or the show's just going to go all over the place. And unfortunately, we had students who were like that. And it just kind of made the experience, it was no one's fault but their own, like the students who didn't want to put in the work. But what I liked about Rods is eventually she's like, all right, if your show doesn't have this that I asked for, you don't get the full credit. Or if you just half-assed it, you're not getting credit for this as well. And I think that really kind of started making people realize like, hey, this isn't just some easy elective. So it's just the basics. It teaches you the basics of how to be a journalist.
Yeah, it's sorry to interrupt you, brother, but I did that too with KION, where even though I wasn't on air, but I just kind of, I had produced like my last, 6 months I was there. Taught me a lot just about how to get the show done. And just not half-ass anything at all, which I didn't. Maybe, of course, you're gonna have your lazy days.
You have your days. You have your days. I'll admit that.
But I always, and I'm not sure if you had this too, where I always put myself in the viewer that because one really sick like journalism sicko thing I do when I go visit a new place across the great USA, or if I go to a new spot or go to a new country too, is that I watch the news. For some reason, I just watch what the stations that I don't watch here. Your KPAXs, NBC Bay Areas, and ABC7, KTVU, or Cron. I watch like what they're doing just because I'm like, this story looks interesting. It's really a sicko thing I do. Anytime I turn on television, I always turn it on to like that market's stations just because it's fun. Because each news station's different in how they operate and how they produce a show, how they write it, how they edit it. So it's always good to kind of pick up little tidbits, and I'm sure you're probably like that too, announcing stuff like that, or since you work for an NHL team, what our other social media teams are doing, and like, oh, this looks good. Hey, how can we make it better? So
yeah, totally. I've always loved nitpicking. Not really NHL. When I was in the AHL, wasn't really looking at what NHL broadcasts were doing because they had a lot more resources than we do. So it's like, hey, the only way we can copy this is if our budget goes up, which most of the time doesn't happen in the American Hockey League. Yeah. But I liked listening to other AHL broadcasts because they would do certain things where it's like, hey, maybe we can start doing that as well. And it's funny, DQ, like working with Utah for the last 2 months of the regular season and then going into playoffs. Yeah, there were a lot of things similar to what we did in Tucson because of Adrian Denny, because he kind of helped build the framework of Hockey Night in Utah on the radio side, and that's still being worked because obviously it's only been 2 seasons. There's so much more to do, and there are just moments here and there where he's like, "Hey, oh yeah, I copied this from when you did pregame, intermission, postgame your first season," and it's like, "Hey, how did that sound?" I'm like, "Dude, that's Tucson right there." So. It's good to bring what you have from the AHL to the NHL, but then you can kind of upgrade it because there's just so much more resources that you can get. You can easily pull interviews from any team website, or if you have the trust of the PR team, you get more access to the locker room and things like that. So it was always fun to go back and listen. I loved listening back on my broadcast as well. I still do sometimes nowadays. I haven't been behind the mic in over a year now,
Yeah.
but if or when I do again, it's definitely going to be looking back and saying like, okay, what do I need to work on, and how do we start practicing again?
Yeah. How would you meet DJ Wally C?
Yeah, so we were both roommates in our freshman year in the same dorm room. So yeah, we first met because they had this thing to where I think they gave you, like, with your permission, of course, San Jose State would give you the other person their like socials or phone number, just so you can start to get to know the person you're about to live with for the
Yeah,
next
who's the way?
8 or so months, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, me and Walter started texting each other. We both found out we were Ducks fans, Angels fans, even though Walter eventually pivoted to the Dodgers, which whatever. So we both found out we had a lot of interests. He wanted to get work in sports as well too, but didn't really know what he wanted to do, kind of the same boat as me. So it was just like a match made in heaven. And and then he obviously, you met him through KSGS as well, and he started attending those classes, but he didn't really get into the broadcasting side of things. But now he's doing social media with the Valkyries and the WNBA. So, he eventually wanted to start doing social media, and he's doing a fantastic job there. So that's what I like about working in sports, and kind of, laying that groundwork of what you want to do. Cause there's so many things, right? Like, do you want to be a broadcaster? Do you want to be a news anchor or a sports anchor for a news station? Do you want to work in PR and communications? Do you want to do social media? Or if you somehow learn the business side, you want to do corporate or just anything like that. There's just so many stuff you can do working in sports. And I think the sports journalism just teaches you all kinds of things. And, there are times too when I was looking for a new job after Tucson where I'm like, do I just want to get into communications and PR? And it can still happen, but I'm glad I just have that knowledge in the back of my head if, I do want to kind of go from broadcasting to PR and communications, because it's still a lot similar. You're still with the team. Some positions travel. You're still writing stories and recaps and everything in that matter too. You're just not behind the mic, and that's what makes the minors so fun working in sometimes, because you get to do all of it. It's a lot of work, but it can be really fun if you if you make it not seem like a job, more of just hey, like, I get to do this and I get paid to do it. This is great. I'm gonna put my full head into this. But yeah, that's just what's best about it. But yeah, going back to Walter, met in our freshman year and been friends since. We lived together again my junior year after coming back from COVID.
Yeah.
So we've been roommates twice, and just two sports guys who just happened to be roommates in our freshman year.
Yeah, and before I'll play a little video that I found, by the way.
Okay. Oh no, I'm scared now.
I like how you mentioned too is that there's different avenues for different to get to your dreams. I mean, you kind of view it like a highway in a way, just because you can exit here. Oh, go work in social media. Exit there. Oh, go work in marketing or graphic design too, which is becoming big, especially with social media posts and also TikTok. So there's a lot of avenues, I think, just to attack your dreams if you're in the sports media market space, if you will. So mind you, I'm gonna get ready here, and I brought this hat. I think there's still Max's little sweat from the beer mile that you guys saw on Instagram. This is coming your way.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
clean it first, man. I don't want a bunch of Max sweat on my head.
Yeah, young Max Miller didn't want to keep it, so we're gonna give I'm gonna give this to you when we see each other at his wedding in 2 months. Can you believe it's June already?
I know, it's coming up.
Crazy, man. But yeah, let me share my screen here, and we're gonna play a little something. Hold on, let me get in the right tab here. Give me 1 second.
Oh, I'm
sorry for the delay, folks. We're trying to get the video set up. We are a I am the producer, the host, the editor.
You do everything.
As you know, I went to Johnny's house on a couple occasions, watching football or whatnot, just hanging out, chilling.
I know what you're pulling up.
First off, the guy did not have any dining room set, and it's okay, when you live at college, us, what I'm saying, we're not expecting some fine dining cuisine.
No.
These guys had the tailgate.
we had a fold out table. That was our dining room table. We just never bought one. We just never bought a table. It was that's
Oh,
this was the house or not house, sorry, apartment. I
yeah,
lived in a house my last year. This
yeah.
was an apartment that I lived with with Walter and two other of our friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, we I think we had like a futon. I think like the only piece of furniture we had. And we're like, okay, we'll get a dining room table eventually. And it just never happened, which was probably for the best. Probably for
Yeah.
the best.
All
Oh,
right.
here we
So
go.
you can share, but you can see my screen right here.
Yeah, I
All
got
right.
you. Oh, here.
So
Oh,
I'm gonna play like
no.
2 seconds of the audio right here because this is one of my like this was my last year, by the way, my last semester as a student in fall of 2021. As you know, Tom Brady left the Patriots and went to the Bucks, and still to this day one of the greatest like promo videos that I've seen, not only just NFL but just in team sports, was this Thing of Beauty that we're about to watch. We'll play like 2 seconds of it. YouTube, don't sue me. I'm only playing 2 seconds of it, but I think Johnny knows where I'm going with this. Yeah, right here.
I was so amped.
Wow.
I
Look at the
was
focus. Look at the fan right here for this guy. I think who was there? I think Kyle Tran, your boy, and then look at this
Yeah,
right
dude,
here.
it was hot. We didn't have AC.
Look at
Oh,
this.
dude, I was
It's so
so
cool.
dude, I was so sweaty. I was so sweaty during this game. Not because I was exercising, because I was so nervous because I don't know if this game was the one that indicated it, but Tom Brady, after beating the Patriots, became I don't know if like the one of or the only quarterback in NFL history to beat every single team.
Yeah.
And he only played the Patriots once. That was the only time he played New England. Yeah, just distraught. Because like, you want to beat the guy. Like I never blamed Tom Brady for leaving the Patriots. Like it was obvious the relationship between him and Belichick was done. I think he still had a good relationship with Kraft, to be honest, but like
Yeah.
unfortunately, it was just like a Belichick over Brady type thing, and I never blamed him for leaving, but you wanted to beat him. It's like the fans booed him, like the fans were cheering him on when he came out of the tunnel for warm-ups and stuff, or the pregame activities, and then once he trot onto the field during the game, like his first drive of the game, the fans just booed on him, and it was like that relationship. It's like, dude, we love you, like thank you for everything, but like we're at it now. Like let's go. And we had rookie Mac Jones,
Yeah.
who everyone thought was the next Messiah. And Mac Jones was having a solid rookie year so far. We started the season off 1-3. Or it might have been 1-4 now at that time. So then we're like, oh man, we're kind of sucking now. And it was year two after Brady, like because year one was during COVID with Cam Newton, which is just a whatever. I don't even know how you explain that year to anyone at this
Yeah.
point. But yeah, man, I was I was so into that game, and it was the only one game we played. And probably the only time ever I rooted against Tom Brady because I still support him on the Bucks. Like I didn't become a Bucks fan. Everyone kept asking me if I was going to become a Bucks fan. It's like no, I want to see Brady win, succeed, but like I don't want them to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Like you saw me right there how distraught I was. Um, but yeah, and then after that, Brady became one of the few quarterbacks to beat every single team. And if the Patriots was the only team he never beat, that would have been nice. But yeah, that was quite the memory. And then
Yeah. It was a little,
obviously,
I remember that game. It was a little scoring between
yeah, boring,
kind of
boring
pass
game.
touchdown. And then Nick Folk, they brought him out for like I think it was a 50
Oh, it was a
yarder.
beam. It was a
Yeah.
beam of a field goal. And yeah, he had the length, but he didn't have the accuracy. It was like it was looking good, and then just teetered to the left and just because oh man, if we made that field goal, I think Brady still would have had like a solid 40-ish seconds, I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
somewhere around there. So it's like, would have we won? Who knows? Because
Uh,
which would have been honestly a better ending because Tom Brady did so many fourth quarter comebacks for the
yeah.
Patriots. Imagine he just did that against New England. Like that would have been kind of funny, honestly.
Yeah.
But no, I'm grateful to be a Pats fan. Grateful for the years I had, watching Tom Brady, and we had a few mishaps, a few missteps with Cam Newton and Mac Jones, but kind of back with Drake May. So I mean, the Super Bowl didn't go as well against the Seahawks, but for Drake May being in year two and doing that, it was quite incredible. Oh yeah, put it on for me.
It don't fit my head. It's like a
Yeah.
fits your small head. Don't fit mine.
You know what? DQ, I'll ask you a question.
What's up?
Are the Niners going back to the Super Bowl anytime soon?
I like how we're skipping ahead to the end of the show. No, we still
Oh
got more
yeah,
questions. We still got more questions to wrap it
yeah.
up. I'll answer this. Are the Niners going back to the Super Bowl? Damn right they are. You
Okay.
gotta see
Yeah.
with all my teams. You gotta believe that your team's gonna be championship or bust in a way. That's always how I've seen it. And I know my team UAs are they're second, third place, even though our division's crap. Let's just be real here. When you're 29, I think we're 30 32. We're only 3 games out. Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah.
division qualities out there. But for my Niners, listen, I think everybody's all, oh, Miles Garrett, oh, they got the super team. Listen, it only takes one injury from a super team for being a super team to we'll see him at Cancun. And I think I think out of all the years of the NFL, this year is the most wide open. I think you could put the Rams as a favorite in the NFC,
Yeah.
um, but don't discount the Seattle Seahawks and what they did. Granted, is their offense going to be high functioning with Sam Darnold and not having Kenneth Walker there? Probably not. Our team's going to figure out their defense that three. I think it's a 3-4. Yes, they will eventually because that's the NFL's a copycat league. We know this. Um, so yeah, I think if anything goes, I think just stay healthy. We're just worried about our division. I think if you worry about your division, great. If you can get to what is it now, probably 11, 12 wins, you're in the playoffs now. Phenomenal. I think the NFC West, I think you're gonna get 3 playoff teams, and then we're gonna see what goes down. I think it's all gonna come down to health, obviously, from my Niners. I don't believe in any of the electric plant. Oh, it's right there, the power station.
That story is
Um,
so crazy.
yeah, that takes off because people just are bored. They're bored and they try to grab
Yeah.
content.
Especially in the
Uh,
off season, man.
yeah. I will say though is that I think the reason you're seeing a lot more injuries with them is because most of them don't play in the preseason. That's just my opinion. I think in order to get your muscles, warmed up to NFL gear. And I never played football, but you got to play some preseason snaps. It's like, oh, they look great. And right now, when it's just we're wearing shorts and a jersey throwing the ball, but there's levels to be between looking great in practice and then contact. So I think it's all health dependent. To be honest with you, I just love people saying, we've had a couple of our, quote unquote worst draft classes, and yet we're making playoffs left and right, left and right, left and right.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when they knock the door down because eventually they're going to win one in my lifetime. It's not going to go on for 40, 50, 60, 70 years. I think the team has a lot of talent. I think the window for us, it's probably for the next, realistically 3 to 4 years, depending on health. Obviously, Fred Warner getting up there in age, George Kittle getting up there in age. I think Brock Purdy's for sure bona fide solid QB. I'm not putting him in like the top 10 list or whatever. Top 15 for sure. I think he'll get more accustomed to kind of just taking ownership of the playbook and making audible calls, knowing what plays to call. Because I feel like that's been more on Shanahan's board. Well, now I think it was Clay Kubiak who's our OC. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to it, man. And we could say we're going to be the world champions because I get tired of we're the world champions, but we're gonna be playing in Melbourne. We're gonna be playing in Mexico City. We got a home
Yeah.
game. We got a home game in Inglewood. Sorry, Charger fans. Thank you, Ram fans. And then we got additional home games here. So it's a world tour, and you got to embrace playing on the road, and you got to play being played around the world. If you're getting invited to play around the world now, that means you're doing something good as a team, and people want to see you
Hmm.
as a brand. That's how I look at it. It's a different story on whether we should have international inspection. But yeah, I think it's Super Bowl or bust. I think the Rams are going to do two things: win it all, go 15-2 or whatever, or injury, 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 and then who you got. So it's going to be a fun.
I
It's going
like
to
it.
be a season. So I'm looking forward to it. Now, how did you become a Patriots fan? I think I've asked you this before, but I think it might have slipped through my mind because I was laughing at you the entire time.
No, yeah, I like to explain myself because I feel like nowadays when you say like, oh, I'm a Patriots fan, everyone's like, like, are you that? And I've even said it too. Like, are you a Patriots fan because like, do you just like the team itself? Do you even know any players besides back then, obviously Tom Brady and Gronk and stuff? And nowadays it's like, oh, do you know anyone besides Drake May? Like, are you a fan, or are you like a fan? And I consider myself a fan. Like, I know the ins and outs of Patriots football. You know, I can name a lot of players. Like, I feel like there was a time last year where I can probably name every single player on the team. Now, right now it might be spotty because got a lot of rookies to come in. Rookies to get to know because I know college football, but not every single detail of who got drafted like a lot of people do, which is insane. But yeah, how I became a fan. So it was I was in fifth grade and I loved football, but I didn't really have a team, right? Like I kind of just liked teams based off their colors when I was younger. Like there's a time where I liked the Jets because I loved the color green, or I thought the Raiders jerseys looked sick with the silver and black. So like I would like them a little bit too, but I never really was watching their games. It was more of just like playing as them on Madden at the time. I think it was Madden 11. And I just didn't have a team. I loved football, didn't have a team. And this it was near the playoffs. Playoffs were starting. I was in fifth grade, so that would be, gosh, what year was that? I think 2011. I think it was. And my brother had a kidney injury snowboarding. Like he was snowboarding. Someone went under him as he was doing this crazy jump, had to get out of the way, fell on his kidney, injured it really bad. Had to go to the hospital and everything like that. So he's recovering in the hospital, which means, we're just going there a lot to go see him and everything like that. And my brother would have football on. And it was the playoffs. So it was probably around January, late December, January time. Right, no, January time. That's when playoffs were usually going. And there's this team called the Patriots. And this is quarterback named Tom Brady just killing it, right? And I didn't know who Tom Brady was, didn't know like who the Patriots were. Like I said, like I played football, but I just didn't really know the NFL yet. And I just kind of started liking them. Like I'm like, oh, I like these. Their colors are kind of cool. Like I like their style. Their stadium looks sick from the TV, and it also just kind of became a thing with my friends and family. Like, oh, Johnny's been liking the Patriots this year, like in the playoffs, and everyone's like, oh, Johnny's a Patriots fan now. Like even my elementary school teacher, Mr. Denholm, just kept saying like, oh, Johnny's a Patriots fan now. Everybody like they're gonna lose in the Super Bowl because they made the Super Bowl against the Giants, and then that's the Super Bowl they had lost the second time. And after that, it just kind of stuck. And was I a bandwagon back then? Yeah, probably. But now I've been a fan for over 10 years. Obviously, we only our rough stretch didn't really last long, which is just still insane. Like I thought I was at least gonna have to experience pain for years to come. And yeah, been through the glory days of the Malcolm Butler interception against the Seahawks on Russell Wilson, the comeback against the Falcons, but then we've had hardships of losing to the Eagles despite Tom Brady probably arguably having the best Super Bowl game of all time, throwing for 500 yards and throwing for what, 4 TDs in that game. I think it was 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, and throwing for 500 yards, the most ever in a single game in Super Bowl history, and still losing because your defense couldn't make a stop. But then the very next year, our defense were the ones who carried us to the victory against the Rams. And yeah, and then the day Brady left was the day that COVID kind of started, and I had to drive to San Jose with my dad to get stuff out of my dorm room and then come back because we kind of just like left there because we didn't know. It was the time when no one knew what COVID was, so we thought like the whole country was going on lockdown. So I packed up, me and Walter packed up my car and like drove back down, and I dropped him off at home and stuff. So then my dad and I went back like a month or so later to grab my things. And it was the day after we got back after driving literally all day because we went there straight and back. We never stopped. So it was like, 12 hours, not 12, gosh, like 15 hours of driving, probably 12, 15 hours. It was the next day that Tom Brady went out publicly saying he was leaving the Patriots and went to the Bucks. But yeah, that's just how I became a fan. And I was probably a bandwagon to start, but I am diehard.
Yeah, Fugazi schedule. Let's
The
see.
schedule, the schedule.
Talk about we could both like just this is not really a question, but San Jose State hockey memories, man.
Yeah.
I remember I what I miss is not necessarily like the game itself, but just like the camaraderie among the brotherhood that we created.
Hmm.
Wally C, Ryan. Ryan? Are you live, dude? Answer your phone. I'm gonna do it live on the global stage right here. Yeah, Ryan Carlson, Max, Matty Ice Williams too. Is that it was just setting up, being there like 2 hours before, just having fun, shooting the what, if you will, shooting the shit, and then just doing the game like at 8:30 at night, and then taking stuff down, which was the fun part. And then I think some of the games too, we went to In and Out afterwards at 11 o'clock. So those are the days I
Yeah.
think was
Oh
because
man.
like
I,
it was basically in
yeah.
my head it was like us against the world because like I said, we were just doing it for the fun of it and the passion that we had, and just so many of the memories right there. They're also doing games in Fremont as well, at Shark Size Fremont. Then
I
going
remember that one. You and
yeah
I called that. We played
yeah
Long Beach.
yeah
And
play Long Beach.
Long Beach had changed their names and I got all confused. I was like, I thought they were the 49ers or something, and then
Yeah,
they're the
Long Beach,
Sharks.
the
And I'm
beach.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
and I had to like change all of my notes right after before the game because I'm like, dude, I thought they were the 49ers.
And then
What did
right
they
here,
change to the Sharks?
and then the way the booth was set up too. Well, it's not really a booth; it's more like a desk table, whatever.
Oh, we were on ice level. The camera quality was awful, and my mic was like so loud
Oh, that
because
was
I will
fun.
admit I'm a loud broadcaster. Like I've been told, like, dude, you're too loud. You gotta ease it down a little bit
Yeah,
when I was with Tucson, just from fans and stuff.
yeah.
And I remember my mic just being insanely loud, not because it was bumped up. Like I had to turn down so low for some reason. Just the audio just was
Mhm.
like, no, you're high, man. Like he wants to keep it high, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good memory.
Those are fun, man. And one other memory I have too is working in Oakland and getting locked in a parking garage with Ryan. I don't think you were there. You were
No,
doing Barracudas, maybe Barracuda stuff.
I do remember that because I did work in Oakland game. I
Yeah,
think only one time. I remember getting insanely sick after that because that's one of my bad memories. It was like it was our first games because we usually sometimes we just always played Cal first or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
And it was just we were so used to the warm weather and those ice rinks, they're so cold. That
yeah.
was also a thing to remember. It's like, dude, you had to bundle up because you're sitting in those ice rinks for because we showed up 2 hours for the game. It would take us maybe about in the same time to dismantle, especially the second of the back to back because you had to put everything away.
Hmm.
Like we're there for a good 8 hours or so, probably. Dude, you're freezing by the end of it. Like you had
Yeah,
to
man.
bundle up for those.
Feel
So
our life.
I got insanely sick after that because you go from the warm weather all summer to instantly like being in the cold for a couple hours. My body just
Mhm.
was like, "What are you doing? I don't like this um, temperature adjustment."
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just amazing memories. And then I went back there too to do the beer mile for our boy, Max Miller. And there's a certain smell about it, going in there. I don't know what it
The
is.
sweat. It was like the sweat, the rubber,
Chlorine, yeah,
the
chlorine,
rubber
the
of
ice.
the rubber of the floor where
Yeah,
all the hockey players can
yeah,
walk around. The occasional beer, like when fans would order beer. Oh no, what was it? Stanley's, right?
yeah.
Stanley's right
Stanley's
there.
right there.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
got
Like the people
Calder's.
ordering beer from Stanley's, Calder's at near Tech CU.
Yeah, fun
I
times.
also loved going to Stanley's after the games. There's one time my car got locked in the parking lot at Tech CU, or it was kind of like this part of the parking lot that connected from
Yeah, I know
Tech
what you're talking
CU
about.
and Excite Ballpark.
Yeah,
And there's one time after a CUDA game, it was our last game of the season, so we're like, oh, let's go. And I think I was freshly 21, so I was like, oh, I can actually drink with my coworkers now.
yeah.
And yeah, my car got locked there for like a day. I think it was like the week, like since it was like the weekend, they're like, oh, dude, you can't get your car till like this day. And I'm like, dude, I didn't have a car for a whole weekend, and I still had like to go to work and stuff at Chili's. So I was like, great. I'm like, I'm asking my roommates like, hey, can I get a ride? you know. Uh,
Oh my God, that's funny. So I know you mentioned San Jose Barracuda, where your professional career started. How did working there, obviously for the great Nick Nolenberger, how did working for the Barracuda help you become kind of this triple threat, where you were not only you're writing press releases, you were doing interviews for not only for social, but you also did some on ice interviews as well during the intermissions, and then you also handled like press conferences and stuff like that. So, how that experience help you just become like this triple threat?
yeah, yeah. Shout out to Nick Nolenberger as well. Still really close with him, and he's got to get called up too. When Randy Hahn retires, like he's got to get called up, man, because that guy is he's put so much work into the Barracuda, and he's one hell of a broadcaster as well. So shout out to that guy as well for just helping me out in my career.
Yeah,
But yeah, it really taught me the PR side because I didn't I hadn't grasped yet that if you want to get into broadcasting in any minor league, you have to learn how to do communications. And I didn't really like, I knew about it, but I didn't really know what that meant because I hadn't taken any PR classes in school yet. And not only that, not even sports PR. So it kind of just taught me of what you have to do on the side. And they always say, and I think even Chad Oakland Jolin told us this too. He's like, dude, the broadcasting's like 10% of the job. The other job is writing press releases, writing the recaps, getting interviews for the players, not for your purposes, but you have to post it up on the YouTube page because it's a requirement, right? The post game interviews, helping out in the community relations side, scheduling that stuff, having relationships with outside media, letting them come in to interview, getting them credentials for the game, whether it's season or just for that game alone. And I helped Noli out with all those things. I did a lot of the game notes my first year, just usually probably every game notes I did. My second year was more of just the back-to-back games, just because I was a lot less limited with everything else I was doing. But yeah, first season I did a lot of the game notes, help him out with the recaps and stuff like that. So I was a big help for him because it's I think now he does it all on his own. I don't know if he has an intern at the moment, but it's like, man, how does he do this all himself, right? And it just kind of gave me that realization, like, oh wow, I'm gonna have to be doing this soon too. And again, it was at the time where I didn't know whether it was going to be baseball, hockey, or football. Obviously, football probably would have been in college somewhere, which most of those guys call not only football, they call all the other sports and stuff. But it taught me a lot of what to expect. And again, it just helped me get my first job in Tucson because Adrian Denny knew that I can also handle the communication side of things.
Yeah. And I think I forgot to ask you a question because we're having too much fun here.
Yeah, we've been off the
We're
rails a
not a
couple
real
of times.
show. But who were some of your mentors that had helped you out or still helping you out in your journalism career? I know you mentioned Adrian Denti as well, Noli, Chad.
Yeah, it's got to be for sure Adrian. Like he's the guy I'll go to for just any questions that I have. Just working full time with him for in Tucson for you, which is yeah, it's crazy. I've only worked with him for a little over a year. Like the last 2 months I worked with him in Utah, but I only spent one full year under his belt. He was the play-by-play guy director of not only communications but broadcasting, marketing. Yeah, that's another thing too. Like a lot of minor league broadcasters, they run the marketing side of the entire department, which it's a lot under your belt. So, and I was more of like his communications guy. So I handle more of the credentials and the game notes and the recaps and everything like that. And then obviously I did pregame, intermission, postgame all in my first year. But yeah, he's the guy I go to for everything. Even when I was looking for a new job last summer, would text him like, hey, I have an interview coming up. Like, what should I do here? Or, hey, I just heard this job might be opening up. How should I reach out to this person? Or like, who should I reach out to? So yeah, he's been my mentor for the last few years. But yeah, Noli was amazing. The 2 years I worked under him, we still talk nowadays as well, and I still ask him questions here and there of like how I should approach certain aspects of broadcasting. Ryan Carlson too. He was also a guy that introduced me to Andy Dickerson, the owner and full director of CEO, whatever you want to call it, of
Yeah.
Black Dog Hockey. He's still doing an amazing job with them as well. Also a San Jose State alum, so we got the best equipment.
Yeah.
So yeah, also shout out to Andy for just kind of bringing us on and entrusting us in running our own broadcast because he didn't live in San Jose. He lived what couple miles up north, right, or a couple hours up north, right? So
Yeah, I think
he's
Sacramento or something.
yeah, like Sacramento area. So just shout out to him for trusting us and Ryan kind of showing us how everything worked. And eventually there was nights where just me and you were calling games because they trusted us. So yeah, there's just too many people to really thank for where I'm at and a lot of mentors along the way.
Yeah, man. I remember Ryan still have the photo of him said it'd be a step-by-step guide to how
He
to.
doesn't text in our group chat anymore. He's a ghost. I don't even know what I know he's calling for Cal. But it's like, what? And he works for the Sharks, right? Still, I think
Yeah,
he's
still
working
works
the
for the Sharks.
radio. It's
Yeah,
like that guy's just off of social media. It's like, where is he?
that's right here. He's like this.
Uh,
He's like Don
yeah, you
Tito.
can't see me. No, I hope he's doing good. And
Yeah,
yeah, he's also someone to thank for just to get me where I was at.
yeah. Now I know you were at Tucson Roadrunners first. How did you hear about the job? And I know you talked about, I know it was like 2 or 3 years ago where they laid you off, and then I know it was in between when the Coyotes eventually moved
Yeah.
on. All that mess was happening, but then you got brought back on. So one, how'd you hear about Tucson Roadrunners job, and two, what did you learn about yourself most? Because I mean, kind of gave that shock, like, oh, I don't have a job, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, here we go, we're going back. So
Yeah.
what resiliency skills do you think you learned about yourself, kind of in that situation?
Yeah, I like to tell people, and I think you said in the beginning of the show, it's like I've had a weird career. It hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows. There's been, and I think that goes for everybody in their path. Like, there's always going to be a time where you're like, man, like, do I want to keep doing this, or is it even worth doing this? Like, I can't find it my new gig, or I've never felt stuck. But some people say like, hey, I'm stuck here. But I first learned about the job. Um, it was funny. I applied to the Anaheim Ducks for a seasonal full-time communications assistant role and didn't get that. So I interviewed with them, but didn't get it. So I had to plan initially to come back to San Jose State, not to go to school, but just to keep broadcasting for the hockey team, since again, our hockey team wasn't broadcasted under the student station. So we were able to do it freely. And I was going to rejoin the Barracuda in my internship again. But then I had also learned that the Barracuda were kind of budgeting back a little bit to where I wasn't going to get as many hours and it wasn't even worth me doing it still. So I kind of got hit with two bad news in that week. Like, I didn't get the Anaheim Ducks job, and now it's like, well, am I even going back to the Barracuda? Is it even worth going back to San Jose now? Like, I was going to go back to Chili's and everything just to keep a job and stuff. And then all of a sudden, Liz Child, who I had mentioned earlier, she sends me on Teamwork Online. She sends me the application of coordinator, communications and broadcasting for the Tucson Roadrunners. And I'm like, I am not qualified for that. I haven't even done anything like that. I haven't worked in pro hockey yet. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. And I tell her, I'm not qualified for that. She's like, I don't care. Apply for it. And I was like, okay, fine. To make you happy, I'll apply for it. I applied to the job. And and this is Saturday night, I applied to the job on Friday. Next day, Saturday night, I get an email from Adrian Denny, and he's like, hey, like, I remember meeting you with the Barracuda. I like the work that you did. I've already talked to Noli about you. Would love to catch up for an interview. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I'd love to talk. Um, and have a couple of interviews. He's introducing me to like our social media guy who I worked close with. He's introducing me to the president. I'm like, dude, I got this. Like, I already got this job, and I did. It was a pretty quick interview process. Like, Adrian tells me to this day, like, he knew I was his guy right off the bat. So I don't know who else he interviewed, but yeah, I got the job. And just what I learned from myself was, I would say, I mentioned this earlier, like, the first few months were rough. Like, yeah, I forgot what they say, but it's like a syndrome where you feel like you don't belong. Imposter syndrome, I think is what they call it. And I think a lot of people experience this in any new job that they have, where you start to think like, man, like, am I suited for this? Do I even belong here? Like, there's probably so many like other broadcasters in the ECHL, FPHL, SPHL who probably applied for this and didn't get it, who would be doing a better job than me at this. Because like, you make mistakes, right? We're all human at the end of the day, and like, I would make mistakes my first year and made mistakes my second year too. And it's like, man, do I deserve this? I'm fresh out of college and I haven't even worked any jobs yet. And like, I was grateful to be there. Don't get me wrong. Like, to work in the AHL fresh out of college and full time was amazing opportunity. But eventually I did learn like, okay, I do belong here. So it just took time, right? And what I learned about myself is you're going to make mistakes. Not everybody is perfect at their job. Like, even in the NHL, I'm sure people, obviously you want to make less because you're in the NHL now, and that's why you're there. But you got to learn. And sometimes you got to be thrown into the fire. I got thrown into the fire my first year in Tucson, where eventually, they're like, hey, we're going to have you do pregame, intermission, postgame. And hey, we're going to have you do the on ice interviews in Tucson. Like our first game, which I didn't know I was going to do until, 30 minutes before, or like 10 minutes before our game was about to end. He's like, oh yeah, you got to go down there, by the way. I'm like, what? So I just learned that I belonged. And first year went great. Honestly, one of the best years as of now, just like working in sports, met so many great people. And the Roadrunners just had a fantastic year. That was when Dylan Gunther and Josh Doan were just rookies, and now they're just killing in the NHL. And looking back at their growth in Tucson as well. And just getting to know people I still talk to this day, people I'm still really good friends with. And yeah, unfortunately, it came to an abrupt end the first time around, just when the announcement of the Coyotes going to Utah. Kind of had a weird month or two where we didn't know what was happening to us, and then obviously we found out eventually when I got laid off the first time. Came back home and just kind of started reassessing where I wanted to go next. Started to look at ECHL teams for play-by-play roles because I hadn't done any play-by-play yet in general for a
Right.
professional hockey team. It was just just being on the radio.
Yeah.
I only had one game under my belt from year one because we had a TV game and they kind of rewarded me with getting the play-by-play opportunity, so that was fun. But just kind of started assessing like, okay, like, is this still what I want to do? Like, do I want to maybe go into PR or something full time, or just strictly PR, no broadcasting? Had an interview with another NHL team that I almost got. But yeah, then eventually our team president calls me and he's like, "Hey, we want you back. Like we worked some things out. We can afford you again." Not in his words, but just pretty much is what he was saying.
Right.
And and honestly, at the time, I didn't really had any other jobs lined up. Like I almost got another job, but that didn't work out. So I was like, well, yeah, what do I have to lose in going back? Uh, and so I did. Luckily, I started my apartment out there, so it's like I didn't really have to move back. Just go back to Tucson, got back into the office, but I started suspecting that I was because Utah obviously was having its first season, and Adrian is from Utah, so I already started to suspect like there's a chance he might go over there. Like, am I gonna be the play-by-play guy next? Like, it'd be crazy if they didn't promote me, but like I'd also be shocked if they didn't because I haven't done a play-by-play in professional hockey yet.
Yeah.
And he was leaving every weekend to go to Utah. I'm like, he's got to be interviewing there or just something's up. And then it was eventually they announced that Mike Folta, who's also got to work with them, amazing broadcaster, amazing person. Shout out to him as well. Mike Folta got the job as a play-by-play radio guy. And I'm like, okay, Adrian's probably staying here. Like he wants to be an NHL play-by-play guy. Like I don't see the reason why he'd leave. He loves Tucson. Then one day, probably gosh, like a week before our first preseason game, pulls me aside and says, "I'm going to Utah." Now he does pregame, intermission, postgame, pretty much an on-air person for the Mammoth. Does their podcast, hosts their podcast every day, Mammoth Daily during the season. So it wasn't play-by-play, but this was his ticket to the NHL and to go back home where he's from in Salt Lake. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm going, and let's go talk to our team president." And then I got bumped up to the play-by-play guy. Pretty much ran the whole communications department. Luckily, I had a communications person we then hired who was the old me, but that was more strictly of a communications role, no broadcasting. So I handled all on-air stuff. I was doing play-by-play, pre-game, intermission, post-game. Like I was the full Swiss Army knife when it came to that. And got to travel with the team, which was awesome. Got to go to Canada for the first time in Calgary and Abbotsford, the minor league teams for the Flames and Canucks. Mm-hmm. And it was an amazing year, made playoffs, got to call some playoff games. And yeah, unfortunately, it was the second time around that I got laid off. So just with the where the Morello's at with the Roadrunners and just owning the AHL team, they just wanted to cut back on the expenses. And I was a free agent once again. Got my job with the Ducks back all the way in October using my San Diego Ghost connections as a game night communications assistant. Then eventually got the call for Utah to join them as an associate producer, and that's where we're at now. But yeah, those 2 years in Tucson were definitely learning experiences. Something I'll always look back on and say like that's where everything started. Like it started with San Jose with the Barracuda, but like this is where I really got to start getting stuff under my belt and learning what it took to work in this league. And it took time for me to figure that out. And it took a couple of weeks of me saying, "Hey, do I even belong here?" But eventually we got it dialed in.
Now, obviously, your childhood team is the Anaheim Ducks, and I know you had a really strange regular. You personally had a strange regular season where you were working for them half the year, and I think in January, February, you go to Utah to get another amazing opportunity with the Mammoth. But I just want to ask you this, because I think everybody, you see my colors, I wanted to work for the Oakland Athletics. Every kid dreams of that. Like, hey, well, it'll be cool to play or work for them. What was it like to work for your childhood team in the Anaheim Ducks?
It was awesome. I'm totally grateful for the opportunity that the Ducks gave me. I felt bad having to having to leave and kind of leave them stranded in March. It was actually my birthday is the day I technically started with the Utah Mammoth on March 9th. And they called me like a few days prior to that to ask me if I wanted to come join them. But for the Ducks, it was strictly just communications, no broadcasting or anything. It was great, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do, right? And
Yeah.
I was only coming for home games. I wasn't working any road games or anything like that. So that's the main reason why I left. But like the year the Ducks had, man, like with Beckett Seneca almost winning rookie of the year, or they haven't announced no, they've announced all the awards, but the year that Seneca had, have they announced all the awards yet?
They're starting to come out. I think the coach of the year went to John Cooper.
Okay, so they're starting to
Lightning.
announce them.
They starting to announce.
Got it. Okay,
Zach Werenski got I think the Norris Trophy.
yeah, he wins it every year.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyways, yeah, like just the growth and just the year that the Ducks had, and getting to experience that was quite amazing. And I got to meet broadcasters who I listened to and watched as a kid. Obviously, I mentioned earlier I listened to Steve Carroll on the radio. I got to meet him. Got to meet Emerson Edom, who's the color analyst for the Ducks right now. And I got to meet John Allers and Brian Hayward, the two TV guys for the Ducks who have both been there for years. And I met some of the studio folks as well. So it was just getting to meet kind of people who inspired you to get into this, to get into this broadcasting industry and this gig. So that was just an amazing opportunity to meet them and, getting to sit in the press box, knowing like, man, this thing's been here the whole time when I was coming as a kid watching the Ducks. And, I've walked by guys like Teemu Solani, and I never saw Ryan Getzloff, but I'm sure he was always in the building too. Just kind of being around that and getting to see how the NHL works too. Like the NHL and AHL are, as much as they're so similar, they're also so different. And getting to kind of see how an NHL team functioned, especially a new organization function, was amazing. And it was just really fun. And obviously, the Ducks having a fantastic year made it all better.
Yeah. What is your role with the Mammoth? Because I know Adrian brought you on, obviously. And how has it been working for kind of a new, because there's obviously, so many club, in any sport, you join a club, you join a team, in the business or personal aspect, like, okay, I'm joining here. But this is like a freshly new, kind of rolled out team into a new market. What was that experience, or how's that experience been like, and what is your role with the team?
Yeah, so my role is an associate producer of Mammoth Daily. So primarily, I did all the work for our podcast, which during the season runs Monday through Friday. Every episode comes out at 4:45 a.m. So our morning listeners on their way to work or making breakfast can listen or watch it. And at first, I thought Adrian was just bringing me there just because he wanted he wanted his buddy back. He wanted to help me out. But man, I realized like, how did these guys do this without a producer, right? Because it's just a lot of work. And
Yeah.
eventually I was making them outlines. I was giving them ideas of what they can do for the show. I was making B-roll packages, interview packages for the YouTube sides of things, because we wanted to make it seem like a show, right? Like a TV show that you have on your TV in your living room while you're making dinner or anything like that. So my primary role was with the podcast. Now for this upcoming season, we have ideas for getting me involved in the broadcast. So, but just my title for right now is the associate producer of Mammoth Daily. And yeah, I'm just helping them on the day-to-day aspects of the podcast. If they need something from me, like visually wise, or they need an interview cut, that's my job. And during the games, I'm just pretty much preparing them to record that night, because we would record the show right after games, right? Because if we're gonna have an episode come out the next day at 4:45 a.m., we need to record it the night after a game. So, I would get it all together for them, and then they would record, talk about the game and talk about other things throughout the week. And so during the games, I was still busy. I'm making graphics. I'm doing all of that. So it was a lot of behind the scenes work, which was still amazing. It was still a fantastic opportunity to do. It was more up my alley and what I want to do in broadcasting. It just wasn't nothing behind the mic just yet. But, when they first called me and asked, hey, do you want to just come work for us for the rest of the season? We'll see how it goes. And it just felt like I had nothing to lose, right? Like obviously leaving the Ducks was a bummer. I hated to leave them in a tough spot because, as the game night PR assistant. Like we were busy too, but this was just more up my alley. This was just a better opportunity. And obviously working under Adrian for a year in Tucson, like I knew what to expect, right? I wasn't just going to be into a whole new system. Like I understand what they were doing in Utah. So yeah, it was quite the experience. Delta Center is they make it work for it being a basketball venue. Like it feels like it's a entire like spherical bowl where the fans can just look, right above you, or yeah, right above you and everything. And Delta Center was sick. Making the playoffs was sick. I've never experienced something so loud at a sports venue in my life. Like when the Mammoth would be introduced on the ice in game 1 against Vegas in the playoffs, or game 3 against Vegas in the playoffs when we were finally hosting. It was just so loud and the atmosphere was amazing. Salt Lake is definitely a sports town. And, I was only there for 2 months as I'm back here in California for the summer, but it's an experience I'll never forget. It was just one of those things where I'm glad I didn't say no, because if I'd said no, then I wouldn't have. I still would have been with the Ducks, which would have been great because they had a good playoff run, beating the Oilers in the first round, and I still would have been having a great time with the PR team. But just to gain the experience of what now an NHL broadcast does and what an NHL media does with a daily podcast, it was quite amazing.
Yeah, and I know Ryan Smith, who's the owner. He plays in the. He's a golfer. He plays at the Pebble Beach Pro. I know he's doing massive renovations to the seating area in the Delta Center, not only for the Mammoth,
Yeah.
the Utah Jazz. So yeah, I can't wait to hopefully visit you later in the year, man, or maybe in a few years. You got to get that PTO increase. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm on indefinite PTO right now until the season starts again.
Yeah, it sucks being me because people, hey, visit here, visit here, visit here, go there. Hey, we're going to have a vacation, but it's a blessing.
Yeah.
What are some of your career goals, your long-term career goals?
It's funny because when I lost my second stint in Tucson and I was looking for a new job, and that's just the questions they ask you at the interviews, right? For any position, it's like, where do you see yourself at? What are your goals? And I think at the time it was just like, oh, I want to be in the NHL. I want to be either a play-by-play broadcaster or an on-air host or anything like that. And now that I've had time to kind of, assess more of what I want to do, being with the Ducks and not working as much, and then not doing anything radio related and kind of taking a step back from that. And obviously it made me realize, yeah, I want to be a broadcaster because not being behind the mic for a year just kind of blew. I didn't like it. It sucked. And again, I'm blessed to where I'm at right now, but it's like, man, when you go from doing play-by-play for 72 plus games for an AHL team to not doing it for a whole year and losing that position, it sucks. So I definitely know I want to be a broadcaster, but as I think about it more, it's like I want to be in a city, or I want to be with a team that I know that I'll be happy at. And I think a lot of people tell themselves like, yeah, first opportunity in NHL comes up, yeah, I'm gonna go take it, which you should, but also think about where you're going, right? Like, do you see yourself living in this city? Do you see yourself repping this team? Are you okay with not supporting your hometown team anymore, right? Like,
Yeah.
Working for the Sharks, you can't like the Ducks,
Yeah.
And vice versa.
No.
Like, in Utah, when there was a chance, if we had beaten Vegas, we were playing Anaheim in round 2, and people were asking me, who are you going to root for? I'm like, I'm rooting for the team that I'm working for. That's just how it works. So for me, like, my career goals is, yes, I do want to be behind the mic again, any shape or form. It doesn't have to be play-by-play, but like play-by-play is the best thing to do. But I also want to be somewhere where I'm going to be happy just in the quality of life, right? Like I would love to be back here in California, anywhere, because this is just home for me. Even up north in San Jose is home for me. But, if I ended up staying with the Utah Mammoth for the rest of my life, I'd be happy with that too, because I can see myself, raising a family there. I can see myself being with the Mammoth for the entirety of the rest of my NHL career. So I just want to be somewhere where, obviously I don't get laid off again, knock on wood, but also just somewhere where I can build myself. I can build my repertoire. I can work my way up to where I best want to be at. And yeah, maybe that's not going to be with one team. Maybe that's going to be working my way up with one team and jumping to another. But I think nowadays people are so, desperate for positions, which understandably so, because it's such a hard industry.
Yeah.
They move somewhere and they realize, like, man, I hate it here. I hate this city. don't like who I'm working with. So, it's I just want to be somewhere that's not only gonna put myself in the best spot possible, but just put myself personally in my personal life, where I can still go visit my family frequently, or like, hey, am I gonna make great friends here, or do I see myself living in this city for the rest of my life? So it doesn't have to be the NHL, doesn't have to be in hockey, but I would love to stay in hockey. I would love to be in the NHL, but like you just gotta sometimes you just have to be a little picky.
Yeah. Favorite road trip city?
I liked Calgary. I,
Okay.
I I consider that road trip city because I go to San Diego every summer with my friends,
Yeah.
and we took trips to San Diego and Tucson. So like, yeah, that was fun. But I'm like, I go here every summer. Like this is I know everything about San Diego. Like that was one of the best trips. But like, if I were to pick one for a road trip where it's somewhere I've never been before, yeah, it was definitely Calgary.
Okay.
Just getting that Canadian experience, going to the bars there, kind of seeing the bar scene. It gives you the big city, small town vibes where it's not as crowded. You can
Right.
still go out and do stuff. And I also experiencing the Saddle Dome, that catwalk,
Hmm.
scary,
Yeah.
scary stuff.
No
It's
doubt.
hairy up there.
Yeah.
And broadcasting the game, looking straight down at the players. Actually, which I feel I arguably for the play-by-play broadcasters out there, the views where you get straight down on the players, best view you can get because you can
Right.
see their numbers, you can see their nameplates, like you get to see everything from up there. So like I feel like I felt like I called my best games in Calgary just from the viewpoint that I had.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was always my favorite. We only went there twice. So obviously they're building a new rink
Right.
and everything. But if I ever have a job again where I get to travel, I always just enjoy the Canadian trips more, probably because it was just somewhere. It's just places I've never been. When you go to new trips, like I hope one day I work with a team where I get to travel to like Toronto and kind of experience Ontario itself as well.
Yeah, I need to explore more Canada. I've been to Vancouver, love Vancouver. Kind of reminds me of like San Jose meets San Francisco in a way. And yeah, the views there are insane. Also, need to experience Toronto, Hockey Hall of Fame, Montreal. Uh,
Yep. Oh, Montreal would be fun too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I heard, I
Quebec.
heard, I heard Ottawa's pretty. It's pretty like architecture and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. The downtown area. I know the Canadian Tire Center is like way out in the boonies.
Yeah.
Need to go to need to go to Canada and also Winnipeg. Shout out to Winnipeg. Can't forget Winnipeg as well.
Yeah. And let's throw Edmonton in there too.
Edmonton, yeah.
There you go.
My question that I always end our main interview portion before we get into the fun stuff. What advice would you have for your younger self?
Uh, that's a good one. I would just say keep going. Like, and that sounds cliche as it is, but I would just tell them like, this career is gonna have its dark days. Like you're gonna think that this might not be for you, and you're gonna be in the best spots and you're gonna be in some dark spots, but you just have to keep going. Like, don't give up. And people have told me that too. Like when I first lost my job in Tucson, and then the second time, it's like, don't give up. Keep fighting, keep pushing. Like something's gonna happen for you. And I would tell my younger self the same thing. Like this isn't an easy industry. It's not for the weak. Like you're gonna have days where you want to slam your head through a wall because something went wrong in a broadcast, or you did something wrong for in the hockey ops side of things, and now the coaches. It's never happened to me, but like the coaches might get mad at you because you messed
Yeah,
something up on that side, and
yeah,
it's just little things like that can deter you, and especially after a super long season where you've pretty much just lived and breathed hockey and your team, and you need a break and you don't get one. Just keep going. Like again, it pays off at the end. There was a time last year where I told myself like, man, I'm a play-by-play broadcaster in the AHL. Like it can't get better than this.
yeah,
And again, losing that job, it sucked. Like it still affects me a little bit here and there today, but I know eventually like I'll look back on that and say like, man, like I'm glad I didn't give up because this is where I'm at now.
yeah. And I always like to say too is that it's not a setback but a setup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's what they always say. Like one door closes, another one opens up, and I have friends with Tucson who also got laid off, and they're in the NHL now. Like
Yeah,
I won't give any names, but one of them works for the Dallas Stars in their social media. He got that job right after being laid off from Tucson. Another one works for the Seattle Torrent now, who also got laid off in Tucson the second year with me. The the Dallas Stars guy got laid off the first year. So it's like, and I know I have another friend who works for the Savannah Bananas now, and it's just like, yeah, opportunities close and it sucks, and you don't know what's going on, and think like, man, like if only I done this differently, and
Yeah.
and another advice for myself or situation was, I was a little, when I first got laid off or the second time I got laid off by Tucson, I was a little bit cocky. I was thinking, I'm going to find a job. I'm a play-by-play broadcaster in the AHL. I have all this experience. I'm good. I didn't wind up any full-time jobs. And, I will admit I had to settle for the Ducks. And, they would say the same thing because it was a part-time game night position and it was great. But then I got humbled. Then I thought like, okay, well, maybe maybe I shouldn't be as cocky next time. Like this is harder than I thought to find a new job, and just shows how competitive this industry is, man. Like you can have a great resume, but if you don't just land that interview or if you don't stick enough to someone, like you're just not going to get the job. So yeah, keep pushing, keep grinding, and just don't give up. Wherever you are, don't give up.
Absolutely. And by the way, Seattle Torrents the PWHL, which is
Yeah, I should have.
For those non-hockey
Yeah,
which we have some on the
which they had sellout crowds this year, so
crazy,
they're doing pretty good.
Growing. All right, we're getting to the fun questions, and thank you for your time, Johnny. Here we go. And thank you to the 3 people that sent in their questions via Instagram or just by the phone number. So this is from @Marcos01 on Instagram. I think you know who this is, Marcos.
Yeah.
Johnny Boy. This is his words, not mine. Johnny Boy, how do you feel about the current state of your 2 favorite teams, the Angels and the Patriots?
Oh God. Okay, I'll start off with the good. I'll start off with the Patriots. Obviously pretty stoked with the AJ Brown trade. I know a lot of people have their worries about it with the knee injury and just the age itself. And I think the contracts. I think he has 4 years left on the contract, and I don't. Yeah. I know the Patriots have plenty of cap space, which is why they were able to make the trade. Will the Patriots be as good as they were last year? No. I will admit I don't think. I wouldn't say we're not a Super Bowl team, but I just don't think we are because the AFC side of things was just it was just a little weak, right? Like, yeah, I will admit the schedule was a bit favorable for us. Obviously, you play who's in front of you, so it's not like people think the Patriots were just a bad team. It's like, no, we were beating on bad teams, and we faced the best defenses and I say we because obviously as fans we say we. All right, I'm gonna say that too because people always like, why do you mean we? You're not part of the team. But yeah, like Patriots had to go against the best defenses in a playoff run in Super Bowl history or playoff history, and they got to the Super Bowl. Did Drake May play his best football? No. Did he have an O-line? No. So it was a grind to get there for those guys. And this schedule was favorable. But now this year, the Patriots have the third or fourth hardest schedule this season. Yeah. But the Patriots upgraded, right? They got they got a new guard, Elijah Tucker from the Jets. And if he's healthy, he can be a great guard for Drake May. Drafted that left tackle out of Utah in the first round. I don't have the rookies' names in the top of my head just yet, but got that rookie from Utah. If Will Campbell can't support that left side again, and obviously got AJ Brown, got Romeo Doubs from free agency too. Like, what I'm happy is that the Patriots went from one of the worst receiving cores to not the best, but one of the deepest, right? You got AJ Brown leading the way if he's healthy. Yeah. Romeo Doubs is going to be a great slot receiver. Kayshon Boutte had the best yards per catch rate in the NFL last year because Drake May throws one of the best deep balls in the league. And then you have Kyle Williams, who's going into year 2 as a speedster. We didn't see a lot of action, but we saw glimpses of him getting the deep balls from May. And then you saw Matt Collins on the team too, who was honestly, Drake May's favorite target when healthy. He missed a couple weeks during the season last year, but I don't know what it was, man, but he was just May's guy, especially in the Super Bowl too. So the receiving core is deep, right? Like if someone goes down, another guy's going to step up. And we'll see if trades still happen. There's talks of Boutte potentially getting traded because he is in a contract year, and who knows if he sits out or not because he might want to get the passes thrown to him. So, and we also have Pop Douglas. So there's another receiver that we have. Like the receiving core is deep. So wouldn't be shocked if a trade or something happened because that's just a lot of receivers for any team. And of course, Hunter Henry, the tight end, former Charger. Shout out to DJ Wally C, who's actually, I think he's now been with the Patriots longer than he has been with the Chargers, which is insane. But
Reinvented his career in Foxborough. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like he's going to end his career here. I think he just signed an extension not too long ago either. And then when it comes to the defensive side of things, it didn't really have to change much because the Patriots defense literally carried us all the way to the Super Bowl. I argue that they played amazing in that Super Bowl. I mean, if all the offense had to do was put some points on the board, and they couldn't do that. They turned over the ball multiple times, and that defense did everything they could. And one thing I will have to say, you have to extend Christian Gonzalez. He proved that he's not top 5, if not top 3 corner. Obviously had a great playoff run for the Patriots. Had the signature, one of the signature interceptions in the AFC Championship against the Broncos. Pretty much blanketed JSN in the Super Bowl. Obviously had that great tip on Rashee Rice and that deep ball that Darnold threw. He's a big reason why the Patriots had success last year, and he's playing on this 5th-year option. So I want them to extend it so I can finally get a jersey, because I'm always worried of getting jerseys. It's like, oh, is this guy going to be here all of his career? Is he going to get traded? Is he going to get extended? Because at the end of the day, money talks, right? But yeah. I think the Patriots at best will go 12-5, 11-6. Like, they're still going to have a good year, but the schedule is just a lot more tough. Where I wouldn't be shocked if the Bills win the division again, just because the Bills are the Bills, obviously, and the AFC is just it's going to be good again. I hope. Like, if Joe Burrow is healthy the whole year, the Bengals are always a team to look at, and everyone's saying the Ravens might be back if Lamar's healthy too, but. Yeah, for the Patriots, I like that they fixed a lot of their issues from last year, and they still made the Super Bowl. So, I think the O-line will be a little bit better. I'm not saying it's going to be the best in the league. You would like to see Travion Henderson get a bit more touches with Ramondre Stevenson. But I'm really excited to see what A.J. Brown can do. If he's healthy and, hopefully him and Drake may have a great relationship, then it's going to be a good year for us.
I like how you gave that 10-minute answer for answering about the Angels.
Yeah, all right. Oh, see, well, that was the good. Now we're gonna go in. This is gonna be a 20-minute right now. I'll be quick about it. DQ, as you know, like I'm a diehard fan, right? And I stick to my teams, and I've had a lot of success as a fan for the Patriots and even the Ducks too, right? We're first growing up watching the Ducks winning the Stanley Cup in 07, which was the first year I became a fan for Anaheim because. Yeah. A quick story. My dad had he had a client. He does computer services. He had a client that went bankrupt, and they paid him in season tickets for the Ducks.
Wow.
So my dad was a Kings fan. He's thinking like, oh, free tickets, why not? Because he hated going to LA for the Kings.
Right.
So he started going. Again, Anaheim's only 40 minutes from us with no traffic. It just maybe only just over an hour with traffic, and as in LA, it can take you up to 2 hours to get there. So then we eventually became Ducks fans that year. They had a great season and they won the cup. So like, yeah, we're Ducks fans now. But it had a lot of success with the Ducks, no Stanley Cup since, but like just a lot of good deep playoff runs and everything like that. Of course, with the Patriots, Super Bowl runs, Tom Brady, everything. Angels has been the only team that hasn't won anything since I became a fan. I watched them as a kid with my family and stuff, but I didn't get back into baseball until 2017, Ohtani's rookie year, because again, I wanted to expand my knowledge of sports. I wanted to see like, hey, maybe I can get into baseball as a broadcasting career. It was Ohtani's rookie season, so I was like, this is perfect. Like I'm hearing this guy from Japan's pretty amazing, and the Angels have had good starts to seasons, but they just can never sustain that 162 schedule. And I'm still a diehard fan. I still like going to their games, but fast forward to now, it's like, I don't even know what you make of it anymore, because the Angels were known for just being like that mid team, right? Meaning like, yeah, they might be a few games under 500 when the season ends, or like, yeah, they start off good, they end up the season bad, but it's like, hey, they were 5 games over 500 at this point, so like they were good at one point. Now they're just bad, and I've told everybody, I'm like, somehow the Angels just got worse. Like I don't even know you could get worse than this, and which sucks because you've seen kind of the bright spots, right? Like Zach Neto's had his stints of being an amazing shortstop, but he's having a down year. Nolan Shawano, who the Angels just jumped through the minors, has shown that he has a good strike zone, but he's struggling this year. Logan O'Hoppy's just kind of fallen off a cliff after having a great start as an Angel, behind the play as a catcher. Um, and then, yeah, that's kind of it. Like the Angels just had a couple of young bright spots, but now they're kind of all underperforming. Bullpen's still really bad, but I like the Angels rotation. The Angels rotation, it actually has a bright future ahead. It's actually, I think it's the youngest rotation that we have had ever, right? Like Soriano's, he was having a Cy Young season. He's kind of gone back down to earth a little bit, but he's looking solid. Reed Detmers is still kind of experimental, but he's shown in some games that he can be an elite pitcher when he's working with his stuff. Jack Ahanowitz started the season off strong, but he's had a rough stretch as of late. And then Grayson Rodriguez, who we traded for that Taylor Ward trade, he's off to a rough start in the year, but like for a guy who hasn't pitched in nearly 2 years at only 26 years old, it's like if he's bad this year, it's not the end of the world. He's under contract for I think 3 or 4 more years. So I'm excited for the Angels rotation. Walbert Urania, who's a rookie, is I think he has a 2.7 ERA at this time right now. He's pitching fantastic. That's like the one bright spot for the Angels is actually their rotation, which is kind of shocking because they've just been known for having a terrible rotation for years to come. And it's nice to see Mike Trout kind of come back to his old self, right? Like the average isn't where it's at. He's still batting in the 240s to 250s, but man, that power and that speed, he's still got it, man. And I still get asked to this day, like, should you trade Mike Trout? Yes, we should definitely trade Mike Trout. He deserves a championship. He deserves a ring. Seeing him and he's loyal, right? He's loyal to the Angels, but seeing him just continue to be on this bad team, continue to lose, it's like, man, I don't want to see him gone. I love the guy, but you got to trade him. Like, you got to. What sucks is the Hall wouldn't even be that as good nowadays, right? Like, he's great, but there's going to be eventual where Mike Trout's going to be way out of his prime, and you wouldn't get anything back from him. Angels have the third worst farm system in the MLB, so it's like there's just no bright spot ahead. But I know one day,
team.
sell the team, the tarps. I haven't done that yet, but I think I'm going to a game next week. So if I see the tarps, I'll send you a photo of me waving my shirt around. But like you mentioned earlier with the Niners, like, you'll see a Super Bowl in your lifetime. I hope to see a World Series in my lifetime for the Angels. Like that's where I'm at. Like it's gotta happen. Well, they had one when I was like 1 year old. I mean, lifetime isn't me being a fan, I guess. Yeah. And then they made playoffs in 2014, of course. But yeah, I was 1 year old the last time the Angels won a World Series against the San Francisco Giants. Shout out to all my Bay Area San Francisco Giant fans. But
you guys have the second longest playoff drought in North American sports, man.
Yeah, and once the Buffalo Sabres made it, they dumped us in there. I think it's the Jets now, right? The Jets have the longest. Yeah. So yeah, we pretty much got bumped from third to second. So yeah. Everyone says like, oh, you're a Patriots fan, you must love life and everything. It's like, well, not every sport can be perfect. Being an Angels fan is it's torture, and obviously they're not gonna, or honestly, they're not gonna be good until Arte Moreno decides to sell. And I'm hoping with all the publicity that's getting, it's happens sooner than later.
What was your favorite call? This is for Max Miller. What was your favorite call in the broadcast for the Roadrunners? What was it, or do you have a particular call?
My favorite was, and I'll send it to you after this so you can like visualize it and see it. We were playing the Abbotsford Canucks. It was sometime after Christmas. I think it was maybe January or February. And the Roadrunners were just in a dogfight for the playoffs. If you non-hockey listeners don't know, in the AHL, in the Pacific Division where the Roadrunners played, 7 of the 10 teams make playoffs because they want the young players to play meaningful games and not just be out of a playoff spot when you're like a few games under 500. Tucson was just fighting for that 7th seed all year long. They were winning games, losing games. We eventually ended with like a 34, 32, and 10 record or something. So we had technically a losing record, if you want to count the overtime losses. But we made playoffs. But it's just the whole season was just like, dude, if we lose this game, we're out of it. We win this game, we're in it. And we're playing Abbotsford, who eventually did win the Calder Cup last season. They were around first or second, so they still had a lot to play for. We had a lot to play for, and we're in a 3-3 game. It's the second of the back-to-back because in the AHL you just play teams back-to-back, limits travel and everything like that. And we go into overtime with them. And Andrew Agozzino, who I first met in San Jose with the Barracuda, him and I have a great relationship. He scores an overtime goal. He scores on I want to say it was a breakaway, and it was after Abbotsford tried to shoot it in. It kind of redirected all around, and somehow Agazino picks it up and starts just rushing towards the net, and he scores a goal. And it was not only the part where he wins the game for us, but then he goes up to an Abbotsford player and just drills him. The play's done. Like, game is won. Just drills this Abbotsford Canucks player down. I think it went by Carlson, and I was just shocked at the moment. Like, there's just so much going on, and the call went something like here comes Agazino. He shoots, he scores. Andrew Agazino delivers a hit right after. I didn't know who he hit. I didn't know. It was just so much going on, and the call itself, you can just tell, like, I'm just losing my mind of what's happening. And the best part was, it was after that, like, we talked to him about it, and he goes like, yeah, that play was just giving us trouble the whole game. A lot of smack talking, as you know, happens in hockey. And he told us, he's like, if I score in overtime here, I'm going straight for that player. And so yeah, he didn't like go after him, but he just gave him a really good chuck, and the other Abbotsford player just wasn't expecting it so much that he just toppled down, and that's my most memorable call, just because it was just so much going on. Great question. That's a great question.
Yeah, shout out to Max. Yeah, I think I kind of remember watching that on Instagram as well when I
Yeah, it got some publicity just because everyone's like, dude, what? It's like
was
he just scores, he stares down the play and just cross checks him. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Like I said, I tended to get really excited for those broadcasts.
Yeah, I remember, and that's why you haven't hit puberty yet. So,
Yeah.
I hurt my throat doing that. I used to be able to do that 6 years ago. I can't anymore. Um, so Walter, who wanted to be on, unfortunately, work conflicts came up for him, but he texted me basically favorite college memory.
Broadcasting the Idaho Potato Bowl. That was if we want to go just college, and obviously like
Yeah,
in broadcasting too, because I'm just gonna pivot to that.
yeah,
Yeah, flying out to Boise, Idaho, and calling that game was really fun. I think it was San Jose State's first time making a bowl game in quite a while. Maybe since the Fiesta Bowl. No, because let me think. No, because they made the a bowl game the year before that when they won the Mountain West Championship.
yeah. That was the
But it
year.
was, yeah, again, that year was so weird. So it was
And then we
like, did
went
that
to
bowl game count?
we
Because
went to
all
the
of
Yeah, Potato Bowl
it
and then
was
Hawaii Bowl
two.
last
So it
year.
was two. We've been in two Hawaii Bowls
Yeah,
since the Potato Bowl, and then what was the one we played? Ball State.
Arizona Bowl.
It was okay, but
Yeah.
that one was weird because we had won the championship, the Mountain West Championship, first time ever,
Hmm.
and all of our players just like got COVID. So
Yeah, going back.
we didn't have a fully loaded team. It was kind of like we only really cared about our championship. We didn't really care about the bowl game.
Yeah,
So yeah, then once COVID lifted, San Jose State had a fantastic year, and yeah, we went to the Potato Bowl against what was it? It was in Eastern Michigan. It was Eastern Michigan.
Eastern Michigan. Yeah,
Yeah, and we lost, which was a bummer because we had a great. I think we started off like it's like 14-0 to start the game. We're like, oh, we're gonna blow these guys out. But it was also my first bowl game I'd ever been to, so just kind of experiencing like the battle of the bands and all the cheerleaders and stuff. And it was super cold, but like Boise was just an awesome city.
yeah,
And my parents also came. They're like, oh, you're going to the Potato Bowl, like we want to go. And they came, they bought tickets, and they tried to listen to our broadcast as they're like, they I think they paid extra for like a warm suite. So, and then we got our own suite, which was awesome. It was heated up. Like I thought we were going to be sitting in the cold the whole time. So I was all bundled up, and I'm like, no, it's kind of hot in here.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of my favorites, and just another one was again calling the regionals for San Jose State baseball. They made regionals for the first time in 23 years after winning the Mountain West Championship in a fantastic season. And luckily, we got to go play in Stanford. So it was just, hour drive for the two games we played there. Unfortunately, lost both of them, but just, getting that experience. And again, I had already graduated college. So it was like June, right before I was about to go home. And I'm like, I don't think we'll go far, but like if we do, like I'm gonna try to be available. Like if I gotta go to Omaha, I'll go to Omaha. But
Yeah.
you always just have that belief no matter where you're at in tournaments like that. But yeah, that was definitely my favorite one, going to the Idaho Potato Bowl.
And where was the regional at? The baseball one? The call
It was at Stanford. Gosh,
Oh,
what was
right. Yeah.
that's the field name? It was kind of like a
Duncan
long,
Diamond. Yeah. Kleinfield.
yeah, Sunken Diamond. That was fun. I mean, Stanford was just really good. They killed us the first game, and then second game we played Fullerton. We had like 6 home runs that game, but they're all solo shots. So they beat us like 10-6 or something. It's like, bro, if we just had people on base, we would have easily won this game, and we would have,
Right.
in regionals, it's double elimination, so we would have had to play probably Stanford again, or I think we also were playing Texas A&M. I think I don't remember, but
Yeah.
no, probably not them because they have a great baseball program. But anyways, yeah, it was just I've had a lot of I've had I'm really lucky of just like experiences like that in broadcasting
Mhm.
that I get to tell people nowadays.
You'll remember them for the rest of your days, man. And thank you, Marcos, Max, and Walter, for those questions. Now, these are going to be a little rapid fire here. I haven't publicly talked about this, but the scandal that has taken over the NFL world, the sports world. What are your thoughts on Mike Vrabel and Diana?
Ah, dude, they say this on record. No, I'm just kidding. It's yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like I won't go into it too much, but it's like I feel like nowadays, and again, there are investigative sports journalists and people are doing their jobs, but it's like, is this sports news? Like, is this really worth getting riled up over? Um, obviously it's more like celebrity news, I guess. I just hope it doesn't affect the team in any way. Like, I know he addressed the team, and I know, he said he's trying to be a better person, and he skipped a day of I think he skipped day 3 of the draft or day 2.
Yeah.
Um, so like I'm not saying he did it. I'm not gonna say like, oh, I think he's a bad person, but like there's a time where I'm like, I didn't really care for it much because yeah, it involved my favorite team and I love Mike Vrabel. He's an amazing coach. He was always the guy I wanted us to hire, even when Belichick first left and before we hired Gerard Mayo. I'm like, dude, we gotta get Mike Vrabel here.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was just like, is this sports news? Is this worth like everyone getting riled up over? And there's a lot of photo evidence of it happening. So like again, I'm not gonna give my personal opinion on it, but I think it was just one of those things where it's like it's the off season and people need something to report on, and that was just kind of how it went.
Yeah, I will say though, because I was going to talk about it on my like solo show,
Yeah.
um, and obviously different, like 24-hour news cycle, new stuff hits, you react to it politically or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
sports. I will say, obviously, number one, it goes against your journalism ethics of you have relations with a head coach of a team, no matter what
Right.
sport.
Yeah.
I number two, because obviously, who knows how the rest of the whole situation. I do think Diana will eventually have a career again after this kind of cools off. And I think Mike, we'll see how the season plays out because of the first question that gets asked at every freaking press conference from TMZ Sports over like the Boston,
Yeah, it's
oh,
like, dude, we're gonna
yeah,
have a post like that. It's Patriots will either win or lose week 1 against
yeah,
Seattle, and someone's gonna
yeah.
bring that up. And it's like, okay, it's old news, and again, yeah, it's big news because yeah, it was a reporter. Like that's everything you like go against the reporter. Like
Right.
I
But
I I hope she finds a new job because obviously I hate for people to lose
yeah,
jobs, but it's like it's gonna be tough. Like she has to probably quit football to be honest. If we're being honest, she's probably gotta be done with football.
and I will say I feel sorry for both, Mike's kids and her kid. I
Mhm.
think she has two kids or a kid.
Yeah, they both have full
Uh,
families.
yeah,
It's
and it's
it's
just like
insane.
why if
Yeah.
you, yeah, and I'm not married. I've never been in a relationship, but if you aren't happy in that particular relationship, why are you committing, some sins here? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not in that, you know. I don't know him personally. I don't know him at all, but it's just like, come on,
Well, yeah, and
think of your family
thing
first.
is too, it's like these are people's personal lives, and we're just
Hmm.
like making memes about it. Which again, the memes were pretty funny, but it's like these are people's personal lives that we're just butting in, and now we're making it
Yeah,
about sports and
yeah.
press conf. Obviously, Mike Gribble did have to hold a press conference, which obviously is the way to go. But like, yeah,
Hmm.
I just don't want people being. I don't want week 4 coming. Let's say the Patriots start off 1-3. I don't want people saying like, "Hey, Mike, is this the reason why?" Yada yada yada. It's like, duh, come on.
Yeah.
That's not what you report on because I've seen some reporters ask some dumb questions and I'm not gonna say who or where, but I just you see it and you're like, come on,
Yeah.
like, why are you asking that?
Yeah. All right. Who sells their baseball team first? John Fisher or Artie Moreno? Go.
John Fish. I feel like John Fish. No, that's tough because Artie Moreno is just such like a he just refuses to do it. And I know he was close to doing it a few years back, which just ruined everything because like who knows where the Angels would be at if he had just sold. But he's just such a I just don't know he's just how do I say it? Like Perry Manassian, for example, like he probably could be a good GM, but he's listening to Moreno makes every decision for him, right? Like he's the one who said no on the Otani trades. He would probably be the one to say no on any Mike Trout trades because he just cares about the money and the revenue coming in because, as bad as the Angels are, they still have a Hall of Famer on their team that people will come pay money to come see.
Yeah.
So would he sell the team first? Probably. I feel like no. I think John Fisher would probably still sell before he does. But like I said, like I'm glad the Angels fans are just fed up and are going to the games, yelling "sell the team," having the signs like because I saw interesting. I read an interesting article the other day. It was opinionated, of course, but it was like you're not going to get to an owner by not showing up to the games. Like everyone keeps saying, "Oh, just stop paying for your tickets, boycott the Angels, don't show up." Like, why are the Angels still top 10 in attendance? Which they are, because baseball in California is just so popular, and it's like, and no one wants to drive out to the Dodger Stadium and wait an hour to get into the building and back. But people were like, "Oh, why are people still showing up?" And yada yada. It's like they make money from the tickets, but they make money from TV revenue and sponsorships and all these other things, ads, and not showing up to the games is not going to make them bankrupt. That's why teams like the Pirates, who are doing better now, but there's a time where no one would go to those games, and people stopped going to your games as well in Oakland until they finally started getting relatively good again, and it's like you're not going to get it that way. But the one way to get to billionaires is their egos, and I think the fact that sections are being filled up with tarps, guys just chanting "yell and sell the team" and other things towards Artie Moreno. I'm not saying it's gonna change. I'm not saying it's gonna make him sell the team, but it could, right? Like if all of a sudden next year we get a notification that Moreno is selling the team, then that's gonna be the reason why, because Angels fans are just embarrassing this guy at this point, which we already knew the Angels ownership was a crap show, but now they're just straight up like making it public, and people are starting to notice like, wow, these fans are fed up. Like they love this team, they love the players. It's nothing against the players. They're going out there every day and putting all their all into winning. They're trying their best, but how you do your best when when the other talent on the field is just not good enough to win? Like the effort's there, but the talent just isn't. And when you haven't had the talent for over 10 years now, and you've lost the best player in baseball, and you still have one of the best players in baseball, and you're still not winning, it's like you're fed up and you're done. Like the Angels wasted Otani, and sucks seeing him in Dodger blue now, but like I don't blame why he left. And he wanted to stay with the Angels, but Moreno didn't want to pay him. So just how it goes.
How excited are you to see the Mammoth host the Winter Classic later this year?
I'm excited. It's always been one of my like sports bucket lists to work an outdoor game. So the fact that the Mammoth are hosting a Winter Classic at Rice Eccles Stadium, which I've been to before, beautiful place. I haven't seen a Utes game yet because obviously I came in spring, but I plan on going to a Utes game or two next year, and it's just Mammoth fans are just so dedicated. Like for being a brand new team in a brand new city, like those fans love the Mammoth, and we already saw that Salt Lake is a sports town with the Utah Jazz. They got the Salt Lake Bees a bit south now, but like there's talks of the MLBs coming to Utah, which I think they should totally do because, one thing, the Smiths could own that team and then I'll get free tickets. But another is, it's a growing sports town. Yeah. And I think obviously now with the Mammoth being here, it was always a hockey town. You had the Utah Grizzlies there for 40 years, which kind of set that plate up for them, and now they're moving to Trenton, New Jersey. Yeah. But I'm really excited for this Winter Classic. I've always wanted to work an outdoor hockey game. Maybe I can get some of the eye black going for myself too, looking nice and luscious. I just hope the weather's nice. Obviously with previous Winter Classics, it's always just like such a crummy day. It's like And I'm sure the players prefer that because the sun can affect the ice a little bit. But maybe
Yeah.
maybe just have the sun pop out a little bit, and the day's going to be great. It's actually on New Year's Eve this year.
Hmm.
So from what I know, and this is all public, you can go to the press conference with Ryan Smith and Bettman. But what the plan is now is the game's going to be during the day, and then Delta Center is going to hold a concert that night for New Year's Eve. So it's going to be a full fun day, and we're just going to have a great time. And yeah, I've always wanted to work an outdoor hockey game in any shape or form in any league, and to do it for this upcoming Winter Classic is going to be great.
Yeah, it should be a good atmosphere. I like it having a traditional outdoor stadium. I think the past ones that were Seattle, we've done Seattle, we did Miami, which was kind of a little weird, and
It was a good game. It was a good game.
it was a good
Yeah.
game. But then it's like, oh, the roof is open. Like, wow, that's the most fans I've seen at Lone Depot Park ever,
Yeah.
ever,
Right.
including a World Baseball Classic.
Don't forget when the Ducks and Kings had one
Yeah,
way
dark.
back when.
Yeah,
It's that's what sucks about liking the California teams or just any West Coast teams. It's like, dude, we just don't get the outdoor games. Like, yeah, Seattle got one, which was great. But like the Ducks haven't had an outdoor game in years. So have the Kings. I don't think the Sharks have even ever had one.
we had one 2015 at Levi.
Okay.
But I think
Okay.
we're probably, I think within, and probably including the Ducks, Canes, you could include those because
Yeah.
all three of them young teams. I think eventually those three will have like an outdoor game, probably by
Hmm. Yeah. And
next like 2 3 years.
there's one thing I can understand. Obviously, the Ducks and the Sharks haven't had good teams in years, but now they're relative again, and the Sharks have a bright future. Ducks have a bright future.
Right.
But I just one thing I hate about Winter Classic and those stadium series, it's like, dude, it's the same teams every year. Like every year you get Pittsburgh and New York, or Philadelphia and
Yeah.
New York, or Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. So the fact that Mammoth got one in just the third season, I don't remember the last time the Avs were in a outdoor game. I know they once played in Tahoe against Vegas a while back. So it's so it'll be nice. You got kind of got that Rocky Mountain rivalry going between the Avalanche and the Mammoth. And I think Dallas is also getting a stadium series game this year.
18th stadium, which should
So that'll be cool. Like that'll be a sick atmosphere. And who they playing? The Wild? Is that am I correct on that?
Yeah,
I think it's the Wild. So that technically won't be an outdoor game, but like, yeah, it'll be at a football stadium, which nothing less. But yeah, no, I think I'm just happy too. That's a new team. Utah's going to get a brand new jersey for it. Obviously, we also have those like remix jerseys coming out this year too. So like, I'm excited to see what Utah does because everyone keeps begging for the mountain blue to become not our main color, but like a third jersey or something. So what I'm interested in is what Utah will do for their Winter Classic, because Winter Classic jerseys are like it goes back to the days of like when the team started,
right.
or it shows history on the jersey. But the Mammoth don't have any history, right? So I'm curious to see like what exactly they'll do. But regardless, we're gonna think it's gonna be one thing, and it's gonna be something completely different, and we're gonna love it regardless. Because what Ryan Smith, what he's doing with his team, man, like just the fan engagement has been so phenomenal. Like you saw the Zamet get introduced this year. That was just an absolute hit. And then the Tusk mugs that they started selling near the end of the season, where you can pour beer into. And then we had our plaza parties and just everything that the Smiths are doing. It's also why the fans are just so into the Mammoth, is because we're just bringing so much to them, and we're like, hey, like, who wants to come sit in my suite? Like that's what owner does that. Ryan Smith literally sits at the glass with fans, and he lets random fans sit in his suite. Like that's just kind of owner he is. And like I said, like if there's an MLB team coming to Utah in the near future, best believe he's going to make his bid. I'm not saying he is going to. I don't know any information about that, but I think he will. He'll make a bid for that, and then he's going to own the big three in Salt Lake.
We'll have to wait and see. Who's winning the Stanley Cup as of this taping? We are tied at 1-1. Is it going to be the Carolina Hurricanes or the Vegas Golden Knights?
I've been going against Vegas this entire playoffs just because, like,
me too.
They had 39 wins in the regular season.
Yeah.
I still think it'll be Carolina. Obviously, game one, like Carolina should have won, lost. Game two was Vegas should have won, and then they lost. Have this playoffs been fun? Yes. I would say the conference finals sucked, but every other series has just been like hit or miss, or not hit or miss, just like anyone could win each series, especially all the game sevens we saw with Montreal. But going back to what you asked, yeah, I think Carolina's going to win just because of just their structure, right? Like, I think the reason why they lost game one is because they're not used to playing in these high scoring games. So it was just a bit too much. It was just too chaotic for him. Like, I quote this a lot from one of our players in Tucson my first year. He's like, we got to play boring hockey. And that's what Carolina does. They play boring hockey. Say what you want as much as you hate it. Like, there's a reason why they, swept their first two opponents and lost one game in the conference finals because they play boring hockey. And that's why they're one of the best teams in the league. And I also just want to see Carolina win because they've been waiting for this since what, 02?
Yeah.
2006. Okay. Yeah. Oh, they've been waiting for this for 06. They've had all these chances to make the cup. They keep missing. I'm also a Frederick Anderson fan because he started his career with the Ducks and he was one of my favorite players growing up. And want to see Carolina win, but I just think they're a better team. But as I say that, I've been saying this, any team against Vegas. I really thought the Mammoth were going to beat Vegas in round one, especially when we were up 2-1 against them. Right. I thought the Ducks were going to clear away Vegas. Maybe that one, I was saying that one would probably go to 7 games just because those teams were like evenly matched. Mm-hmm. Man, but once Vegas went to Colorado, I'm like, oh, Colorado, 5 games best. They swept them. And it's Tortorella, man. Tortorella just changed that whole team. And people are saying, like, well, Vegas was so bad during the regular season. I'm like, well, they hired Tortorella, like, with, 8 games left, and they finished the season 7-1. Say what you want about Carter Hart, but he's a good goalie. Like, he's playing his best goal tending right now for Vegas. And, no one wants to see Vegas wins for obvious reasons, but they just continue to prove everyone wrong. So I think it's Carolina, but Vegas pulls it off. Don't be shocked.
They're the cockroaches that won't die in your basement. That's
how like they just won't go away. That's how they played against us. The games we lost, we should have won because Vegas wouldn't go away. And then we lost 2 overtime games against them and we just had nothing left in the tank. But we were up 2-1 against them at one point. And we thought we were going to win that series and go on to Anaheim. So it's just one of those.
Who's winning the World Cup this year?
So I'm not a big soccer guy. I know that USA will be solid. I just heard that we're going to be solid, but we're not like anywhere near like winning a championship.
Correct.
I know Germany's really good. I'll just say Germany. I know Germany's.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, they were good when I was a kid, and I've heard too that like they could be kind of like regrouping and finding their way again. Is Messi playing this year in the World Cup?
Yes, it's 6
World Cup. So Argentina's which is funny because last time he said like I'm retiring. This is
yeah. Well,
so like Argentina could always win it again, like which is funny. I saw Messi play live when they played the Salt Lake MLS team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Real. They played Real Salt Lake.
Nice.
I worked that event because it was my part-time job on the side, and I got to see Messi play. It was packed. It was crazy. It was really fun though.
It's crazy. It's like a circus coming to town.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of Miami fans there, and just Messi fans in general. But yeah, I guess I'll just go with Germany again. I don't know any knowledge of soccer. So if you're listening right now and say like Germany, just not. I don't listen. I will be watching though. Like World Cup's always a fun time, and it was really fun watching USA last. I don't want to say last year, but the last time.
2020.
Just because like you had Captain America and you had this shirt saying like it's called football or it's called soccer. And I just heard that USA is like it has a bright future ahead, but obviously they're not anywhere near winning. Like they say we could win a round at best. So if we win a round, I'll be happy. Or get out of the first pool is what they want to like to call it.
2 more questions. What is magical about Coachella and why should I go? Why should this soon to be 29-year-old dude go to Coachella?
Okay. Well, I haven't been to Coachella in years because it's just changed a lot. Like last time I went to Coachella was, I think it was my freshman year of college. Was the last time I went. No, it wasn't. Was it? Had to be because it was April, but like COVID was happening. So
I know you since 2019, so August of 2019.
Yeah, because Coachella is always in April.
Correct.
So it couldn't have been my freshman year because COVID happened. So it had to have been junior year. But then I don't remember going my junior year. I don't even remember anymore. I don't remember when
Good.
my last year
Congrats.
was. I gotta go look at my photo. No, it was junior year because I had long hair. It was my junior year. I had super long hair that year. Um, yeah, no, I mean nowadays it's a lot different. Like what was best about Coachella was it just had like music for everybody. If you're a rock fan, you can go to Coachella. If
Yeah.
you're a pop fan, go to Coachella. If you like country music, Coachella's got that too. If you just want to listen to EDM the whole time, there's a tent for you. Like they have like 7 tents, and there's just always something for you. And nowadays it's just more modern now. Like they don't have the classic rock bands there as much anymore and stuff like that. And that's just kind of tiered me away from it. Also because my tickets weren't free anymore. Like I always got free tickets every year because we my dad had connections there with the people who ran the festival and stuff. But like if you want to go nowadays, it's still a great time. Like it's a little hot, but it's still April, so you're not scorched yet. Um, you're there for a couple nights, and I wouldn't recommend the camping experience. You can talk to DJ Walt. If anything, talk to Walter about
I've
that because
heard.
he went to Coachella this past year, and I just haven't been in the last couple years. Like I'm just more of the been there, done that kind of guy because I went for 7 straight festivals. Um, but yeah, no, if you ever want to go, like it's still a fun time. You just always gotta expect like with these festivals, man, everything's just expensive. Like the tickets, if you want to camp there, you have to pay for that. You want to buy a beer and a hot dog or a beer and a burger, it's gonna run you like $50. So there's warnings. There's a lot of warnings, but if there's an artist there that you just have to see, yeah, go. And you can even go for one day. You don't have to go the whole festival. Buy a single ticket off of someone if you have to, but because I've been to festivals just for a certain artist I want to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, if there's someone there, you're just like, I gotta see this person, and then you can get the festival experience. Yeah, just go. But I haven't been in years, so I don't know what it's like now. They don't have as many like the artists are still good, but it's all just like pop modern artists. Whereas Coachella used to be the festival where it's like, hey, they have everything here. So it kind of just deterred from that.
Yeah, but I don't want to be standing out there for 10 hours waiting for my guy to come on. I'm just showing up,
Yeah, that's also a thing
showing up
too.
at 7 o'clock and then leaving at 10, man. I don't need to be there for 20 hours and, you know, breathe in dust and cough all the time.
Yeah, no, there's bad storms there, or not, dust storms too, which we've had our fair share of.
Man. So maybe get VIP. And if we're talking VIP, where Haley Bieber's at, or,
There you
watching
go.
the row and getting trampled over by people, sign me up for that.
There you
Um,
go.
my question I always ask to end our show is what should the audience learn from your story today, Mr. Schaffer?
And here's a good questions. Um, I think the audience should learn like no matter where you're at, not in like it can be sports or just any industry, just remember where you came from, right? Remember the small things. Like you mentioned earlier, like when we were just shooting the shit with San Jose State hockey and getting to know each other and talking about it now, now a few years later. And my first year in Tucson and my second year in Tucson were those two completely different crews, but we had amazing crews. And then my first year with the Ducks and meeting all those people and getting my first 2 months with the Utah Mammoth. Like just remember where you came from and enjoy it in the moment because you just never know when it's gonna end. As much as minor league hockey is such a grind and you're working long hours and the pay is not the best, you still look back and say like, man, those were some fun years. Like those were some of the best years of my life, right? And yeah, you could be in the NHL and you can be in the best spot you possibly can, but just looking back on how you got there is just always fun to think about. Always fun catching up with people like you and I did here today. Just talking about like, man, like that first class at KSJS and Chad Oakland Jolin pulling me aside and me doing the spotting in my first week at San Jose State where it got all started. Like just remembering stuff like that is what makes it so worth it. And again, you can apply this to any career out there. But yeah, just looking back where you came from, I think it's something to learn and just always enjoy the moment because you just never know when it ends. Like I had an amazing second year in Tucson. I thought I was gonna be doing play by play there for a while and I lost my job. And I'm so happy where I'm at right now, but it's like it ended so abruptly and I'm like, man, I didn't enjoy it enough. I didn't enjoy the city of Tucson enough. Like I don't see myself living there ever again, as long as the Roadrunners are still owned by by that team, by that ownership. So but yeah, you always just look back and just enjoy the little things.
Well, Johnny Brady, I appreciate you being on, my brother. 50th episode. We had to make history here.
There
Uh,
you go.
I always view you and Walter like my young brothers that I want to beat up all the time. And we just, I talk trash to you, call you little boy, but then you're my brother.
This guy's the biggest trash talker I've ever met in my life. Like it's insane. It is absolutely insane. I can't wait to see one day of either the Ducks or the Mammoth being in a playoff round with the Sharks. And it could be as low as next year with where the Sharks are at right now. It's like, dude, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what you say about that.
But love you, brother. Thanks for hopping on, man, and continued success in your journey forward in this sports media landscape and the hockey landscape. Where can the people go follow you on social media for all your latest Mammoth content?
Yeah, so Twitter is Johnny. Oh my gosh, I didn't know you. I wish you would ask me for my Twitter
Oh,
feeds.
come on, bro.
I didn't have it prepared. Okay. I got it. It's
You
okay.
haven't seen the product? No. You haven't seen my show where I
Okay.
ask for to follow? Come on.
Yeah. Okay. So most active on Twitter, it's gonna be so, and this is where me going again, where I don't care how my nickname is spelled. So it's Johnny underscore Schaffer, JONNY underscore Schaffer. You want to catch up on our latest Mammoth Daily podcast? You can just go to the Utah Mammoth YouTube page. Every episode is on there. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts. And as for Instagram, my username is Johnny Boy underscore Schaffer, but this one is spelled JOHNNY Boy underscore Shaver. It confuses a lot of people, but I couldn't make it both names. So uh there you have it.
All right, friends. That's Johnny Schaffer. Johnny, thanks for hopping on. And we'll be right back to close up chapter 50. It's a party here on the Chronicles from the Upper Deck podcast. My thanks goes to Johnny Schaffer. You can follow him on Instagram and X. What a fantabulous chapter 50 we had. I am looking forward to the next 50 and more. It's just an incredible feeling to, start from ground zero and that you guys watch this little podcast from Salinas, California. So I'm really appreciative to Johnny. Like I said, check out his work, and I'm sure he's going to be doing great things. Continue as the Utah Mammoth. Man, they're going to be a problem in the NHL. They got a great young core. But my San Jose Sharks, I think, are going to be even a bigger problem later this fall. So again, thank you so much. Not sure when we'll be back. My work schedule's busy. We got multiple tournaments happening in the next few weeks. So hopefully, maybe by the end of the month or even early July, we will have something lined up. We will have a guest lined up for you. But until then, my friends, continue to stay safe, stay healthy. Please be kind to one another. Enjoy the World Cup. I will be there at the Switzerland Qatar game, so it should be a lot of fun, and you'll see a video of it on my social media. But until then, my friends, stay blessed. And now you can leave this audio and visual wonderland of mine known as the Chronicles for the Upper Deck podcast.